kind of like the hype man, the the play-by-play guy who's going to be talking during the fights. Chair two is going to be the analyst. He's going to be kind of in the downtime, explaining why things are going on. So you can kind of think of it as chair one's talking about what's going on, and chair two's kind of talking about why it's going on. Best way to describe that. Archangel, what drew you to the chair you're in?
So I'm chair two. It was honestly mostly that Majin kept sticking me AGL casts, and I actually just found the home there for it. I found I kind of enjoyed just talking, maybe not as fast because it gives me time to think about what I get to talk about. Spiel off a bunch of stuff about a Smite game, which
Yeah, it definitely takes a little bit of talent to be a chair one and be a good chair one. Lots of practice. How about you, Double A? Why are you going to be chair one instead of chair two?
So being from the northern United States, big hockey fan, and growing up, I watched a lot of hockey, and Mike Emmerich, Doc Emmerich, whatever you want to call him, was my favorite announcer, and he got so excited when someone would go and score and do all that kind of stuff, and it's what I've always wanted to be. So I like to be chair one. I like to be excitable. I want everyone to be excited with me. So I just love that feeling, and so that's why I chose chair one.
Right on. How about you, voiceless one? What drew you to chair one instead of chair two?
Actually, I come from the Valorant casting community where we don't really do chairs the same way that Smite likes to. So I'm pretty comfortable casting in either spot. I just usually end up casting chair one because it feels like that's the one that I get put in when I'm, signed up to cast for things.
Right on. And finally, actually, no, that was everybody. No, King Kerbis, right? King Kerbis, why are you chair
Wow.
two?
Well, I like to let other people talk first, and then I get to step in with some analyticals. So, anybody who knows me knows that I like my rules. I like understanding abilities and how things interact. So, chair two just naturally felt like the right fit for me, as well as, not all of us can be sound man and be the chair one. Somebody has to do the background.
Right on. So for viewers at home, tonight we do have Double A and King Kerbis. Game one, we have Double A who's going to be in chair one and King Kerbis who's going to be in chair two. Game two, we're going to switch it off to the other pair. It's going to be the voiceless one in chair one and Archangel in chair two. I just had to go through them on an odd order just because, got to mess with you people. So last question before we get into the game. Double A, favorite Godskin, go.
Oh boy, favorite god skin? Definitely Burger Time Xing Shen, no doubt.
Burger on a dishwasher, okay. Kerbis, how about you, man?
Twitch Janice.
Getting simple answers. Nobody's over here sweating like, oh God. Voiceless, how about you?
I'm going to have to go with Zuko Susanoo. Unfortunately, I can't play Zuko Susanoo.
You just think it's pretty.
I like the skin. If we're going to say somebody that I actually play, I'll say Aang Merlin.
No, okay, fair enough. And finally, Archangel.
pool party Jingwei.
See, I like that y'all are so confident. So confident. And with that all being said, I'm going to leave the chat and we're going to get right into the games. On to you, Double A and King Kerbis.
Alrighty, well, hello everyone. Once again, my name's Double A. Joining me tonight on the cast is King Kerbis. Say hello to the fans, Kerbis.
Hitty ho, Quackin' League. How you doing tonight? I
And
hope good.
I hope so. But we do have a few bans and picks already on the table, looks like. But let me go ahead and hop right into it. Looks like here on the left, we do have the Rockhoppers, on the right, the Raptors. So both these guys coming in here pretty high up in the standings. So definitely going to be a good match. What do you think of the bands so far, Kerbis?
I'm seeing pretty standard bans. I mean, the Rav and Freya, Yamojo, those are super controlling, aggressive plays. We see them everywhere. Osiris as well, just right now until he gets his nerfs, he's going to be a monster in the jungle. The only one that's a little bit odd
That
for me is
may
that
be your
Yomi, but
undoing.
that could just be a target ban over into this team. I might as well jump right into the picks as well. I'll grab the chaos side here with the Shinchen, Chernobog, and Odin. Shinchen obviously being a really good pick here for reducing damage from basics. Chernobog having that global alt, huge presence, and Odin really being able to lock down people. The Odin pick is a little bit odd right now for me because I mean the Uller and the Tiamat both have ways to get out of it on their own, but we'll see kind of how the draft continues as it goes on.
And we'll go ahead and slow down a little bit. Looks like we gotta catch up with the cast here a little bit here. So yeah, 3 picks out for each of these teams. Cleo and Uller and Tiamat here on the left side for the Rockhoppers. Cleo, something that can hide in a wall, do a bunch of poke damage, come out of nowhere and deal that massive damage, as well as being able to use the ultimate to clear wave or slow down other gods. So definitely going to be useful here. I've seen Zealous around before. I would assume he's going to be pretty good on this pick, and definitely going to be interesting to see how he can utilize it. As well as that Uller and Tiamat here on the left side. Uller just really good in the dual lane right now, able to do that damage. A great, if you're good mechanically, you're good at Uller. So definitely going to be cool to see how they can get that into the mix here. No support out yet, so we'll see what goes along with it. But what do you think about this Tiamat, Kerbis?
I personally, I love Tiamat, a great late game character. Not seen as much play lately due to the fact that it's not as impactful, especially at the beginning of the match. You kind of have to play for that like later portion. But with that, Kleena kind of being able to put a lot of map pressure and, Circuit possibly being the support as well. Yeah, we're going to see. Ooh, that's interesting. A triple assassin comp.
Yeah, definitely interesting. Looks like
This is
here
one
on
tale
the
you
right
don't
side
want to
at
chase,
Call Lee,
darling.
being hovered at least,
Listen
will
to my
be
words.
hopefully picked up. Cirquet on the left does get locked in, so there is one of those assassins. Really interesting pickup. She can kind of go in a few different areas, like you mentioned. We'll see what happens here. Obviously the ultimate really good. The cleave autos just came through in a few patches ago, so that's obviously great to utilize. But it doesn't look like um, she might be going there into that jungle position, but we'll have to see. And then finally here on the right side as well, we are going to see the picks come through. So Hun Bats gets locked in. So you do see those 3 assassins. Hun Bats, really big circle ultimate, just able to disrupt any team fight. Even if you're down as a Hun Bats, you're able to do some great utility for your team with the See No Evil or Fear No Evil ultimate. As well here on the right side, we do have a Cupid and a Kali and an Odin. So definitely some interesting picks you don't see as often. A few of those, like Cupid, coming into this meta right now. But what's your opinion here on these gods?
I mean, I'm seeing big circles. Xingqian, alt Cupid, alt Odin rings. We pretty much got a lot of control with some chase down possibility through the Chernobog, through the Kali. So I think they're looking for kind of a controlled zone. But we also see that over on the other side of Zell's having Hunbats, and just the Cleo. They're going to be able to control and zone with their alts as well. So it's going to be really coming down to those general team fights. I think the Odin and Chen are going to have to get a lot of value to really add the advantage over here for the Chaos side.
For sure. Pretty standard bands as well. Let's not neglect to mention those real quick. Nemesis and Yu Hong there on the left. On the right side, they're targeting the support. 2 Guardians band out there, Kumbhakarna and Ganesha, joining that Yamoja band as well. From the
Yeah.
first band phase. So, support's really important to get those off the table. Kumbhakarna, a little interesting, but in this meta, I don't hate it as, obviously,
Kumba
he can
gets a
be.
lot of hate, but Kumba's got a lot of technical abilities. Even though that Mez could be broken, it still offers the slow. I think all these picks and bans are really well placed. The only one that stands out, like I said, a little bit more to me is that Tsukiyomi. But Tsukyu can be really powerful if used in the right hands, and depending on the team, it could be very targeted to them.
Yeah, 100%. But I believe, on this right side, Xing Shen and Cupid, like you said, you talked about it, even Odin to some extent, those beads burners. Cupid can burn beads, Xing Shen can burn beads. Odin Cage, really annoying. Maybe you have to pick up a shell on the other side just to deal with it. A phantom shell to get through that cage. Kali as well could just jump on someone. And Kumbhakarna ban makes sense looking at that pick as well because he can kind of just shut down these more auto attack gods. but definitely interesting.
Yeah, it does offer a little bit more backline safety, so I understand the ban. Not going a Guardian, however, on the side, we do see the Triple Assassins is going to make an interesting team fight. It's going to have to be really well executed in my mind. Otherwise, they might just get shredded down by that Kali.
For sure. I don't know about you, but I'm excited for this match. I think we'll go ahead and throw us to a quick be right back screen, and we'll get right into this game one action for you.
And I've been chillin', watching the ocean with you. Baby up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our cloudlands when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. And I'll be running, possessed by a low, low voodoo. Fired up like a wolf on a full moon. And we're stuck in a la la land. The tides will turn without us. And I'll be
All right, everyone, we are back once again. My name's Double A. Kerbis here with me once again. How's it going, man?
I am super pumped for this game. Like I said, 3 assassins. I'm expecting early first bloods. I'm expecting lots of pressure. I haven't seen a Circuit support in a long time, so I'm curious how these cleaves work out. I want to see what happens over here on the Rockhoppers.
For sure. Like we mentioned earlier, both these teams fighting for a top spot in this middle division, this deep sea division. Both of them up there in the ranks, both top three. So both these guys have been doing really well. I believe the Rockhoppers, when I looked back, they're ranked number 3 right now, but I believe they had 3 wins and maybe a reschedule. So they've been doing really well. Raptors as well on the other side, keeping up with them, and in that number 2 spot.
Right off the hop, let's take a little peeky at these builds before these guys start getting super aggressive. Odin opting for some extra cooldown, pretty standard SPL starts we've been seeing lately. So these guys have been clearly paying lots of attention to what's going on in the meta. Nothing too crazy. The Eye of the Jungle start for the Hunbats is a little interesting, not opting for the Bumbas, but might be playing for a little bit more late game cooldown through like Jotuns.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Transcendence probably going to be that first item there on the Hunbats as well. I would assume a Golden Blade on the side of Kali. So, pretty standard over there. But we're going to see Enraged Moose already hopping in here. Lessons down to about half health, but now pulling back off. Both these guys fighting for contention of this dual lane. And we'll have to see who comes out on top this time.
Yeah, we're going to see a quick rotation over here from Kali, actually, looking to take out Zealous.
Yeah, Jack of most trades
Jack
in
of most.
trouble, having to retreat to that tier 1 tower gank from the Kali, and now Zealous here on the other side. Hunbats lying in wait, waiting for his opportunity to jump into this dual lane. Circat gonna make the first move. Lessons now in trouble once again, but Enraged Moose taking a hit himself, but now jumping in is Uller. He will get the kill. Lessons goes down. First blood on the side here of the Rockhoppers, and they're off to a great start.
Yeah, we see the jungles prioritize different lanes there. We see Hunbats prioritizing that duo lane, trying to push his Uller and Circuit a little bit more forward, and was successful in that. However, on the other side, the Kali did focus a little bit more into the solo lane, which, the more standard gank, but nothing was really made of it, so definitely in the favor over here of the Rockhoppers, thanks to the rotation by the Hunbats.
Yeah, both these guys getting the message here that we're gonna fight early, we're gonna be aggressive early, like you said. We've seen a gank on both these side lanes, And now once again, Odin looking a little low. I don't think Jack of most trades wants to come over here and get anything off of it just yet. Gonna vouch to clear wave. But yeah, these guys, they're having fun right now. They're going at it early, and I wouldn't be surprised if these jungles are going to continue this upbeat pressure.
Yeah, I feel for this Odin. That Kleena solo is something terrifying to verse. And even before her ult, Odin's, not really the best in the early game for clearing waves. So priority there. And then once that Kleena has ult, she should basically completely control that left side of the map, which is going to put a lot of pressure into that mid. So I'm curious to see what the Rockhoppers do with that. And in retaliation, what this Odin can do to maybe try to pace along with her.
For sure. Like we said, we've seen the pressure out here in mid lane. Looks like the rotation from jungler just helping out mid lane. For now on the dual lane side, though, a little scuffle breaks out as there's a fight over some harpies. Looks like they'll go ahead and disengage at this point. Not too much of a discretion here in levels for the most part. We do see a little bit here in mid now taking over, being even. And then, of course, in solo lane, just a 1 level difference here, 3.5 minutes in.
Yeah, and here's a good variation. We have 3 hunters all going 3 different builds. We see Cowl starter, we see Death Toll starter, and then over here on the Uller we see the Bluestone starter. Just kind of attest to where carries are right now, that they do have a lot of variance in builds, even though some of them play a similar style. Obviously, Chernobog's pure auto. Obviously, Uller prefers the basics. And then Cupid kind of sits into a nice little hybrid slot of one or the other. Not necessarily the best in either of those roles, but not the worst either. So could be an interesting fight. I wonder if the Shin Chen pick on Raptors was mostly so that it wasn't played into them wanting to go that double hunter. But I will hold that thought as we see a little bit of engagement over here.
Yes, sir. Ket has been the one to engage all the pressure so far here in the dual lane, and doing that once again, going after Thickest Kayak. Doesn't get anything off of it just yet. Uller now hit with that heart bomb, but Serket not stopping both these supports going at it right now with each other. They'll pull back off. Both just trying to clear that wave, get the pressure first. And I mean, with both of them being level 5, this is definitely something that if you can get pressure and get the dual lane up, it's going to be super, super beneficial heading into the mid and late game.
Yeah, obviously Serket wants to do as much as possible right now. I think the rotation of the mid is where we're going to see the biggest impact from that ult. Right now, Cupid's dash does allow some safety as well as Shinchen's jumps. But I do believe that, right away we'll probably see her rotate over into the mid, and we should look for some action right at that rotation point, probably when she has enough for Thebes.
For sure. And, it is a Chernobog mid, which I, see too often going into that leather cowl as well for a starter. Transcendence, the first item coming through. Is this something that you've seen before, Kerbis? Because I know I haven't really seen it too often myself.
I've seen Cherna solo. I've seen Cherna duo. I've seen very rare cases of mid, but usually you see it prioritized on the outside where you can get the maximum value from that ult. Just be able to flip way over into the opposite lane. Mind you, this does allow Chernobog to rotate back into mid after ulting, so it's not, completely crazy, but I would have definitely expected that Uller to probably sit in the middle rather than Cherno. So, a little bit odd.
For sure, yeah. Almost seeing that double kind of hunter mid, but we don't get to see it here just yet today. Looks like potentially Kali looking for a gank in the dual lane. Serket there on the other side. Both these guys love to be on the opposite parts of the map. It looks like Serket going to dash out after the rotation from Thickest Kayak. Xing Shen making his way over there.
Yeah, we see these supports trying to put up pressure right away.
But Kali jumping in here gets the stun off, and now we're going to see Uller on the run, but the ultimate is out. He can't take it. Down goes Uller, and just barely living the tower shot is Kali, and that'll keep her alive in this fight. And Rage Moose is over here looking for something himself. Can he find it? Lessons is the target at about half health, now trying to run away. It doesn't look like Enraged Moose can follow and won't, at least I don't think so. No, he won't. Another rotation here from the Raptors. Xing Shen over here once again. but now Circat hopping out, trying to meet this Cupid, finding him, and now he's in trouble. He's going to be pushed back now as well. Zealous over here, Fear No Evil is out, Lessons dwindling, but no, he's going to live under tower. Still alive is the Cupid. Lessons gets out over on the soul lane action, still continuing. The Odin King saving his life, just barely a shred of health left. Jackamose trades almost secures a kill, but now here comes Kali looking for something for himself, but looks like will get out potentially. Now jumping right back in is the Kali looking for something. Jackamose trades on the run, and looks like Kali will secure it, and that's a second kill for her team of 2.
I'm surprised that Kleena did not dash out. Must have been too long of a cooldown, worried about the damage being taken, because Kali's obviously going to chase you if you just casually step out. But, you know, that whole start of that fight, right away we look at Kali chasing down Uller. Uller jumps, doesn't really close that gap. Kali's able to follow. He thinks the tower is going to protect him, but Kali's got ult. That's a free pickup for her. Surprised that she did make it all the way over into right lane there to help that Odin, who saved himself with the cage with some insanely well tech plays by pretty much all of the members. Maybe a little bit of a drop kill over there on the Hunbats. Wasn't able to clean up that Cupid with probably 40 HP, but I'm going to stop as we see these teams engage over at the red.
Yeah, the red buff being invaded. Looks like Rockhoppers wanted to make sure the XP is out of there for the Raptors, but now we're going to see Heart Bomb out here for Uller once again, getting hit with that, having to retreat, but now back to dual lane, back to farming, but a Rage Moose has something else on his mind to kill, potentially. Lessons has been his mortal enemy right now in this match, isn't Rage Moose. Fields of Love out for Cupid, the ultimate is out, but will it be enough to save his life? He'll make it a tier 1 tower, but will Uller is the question, as now he's on the run. A little turnaround whirlwind of Rage and Steel is out, throwing SM Specified back once again, and now he's on the run again. 2 bars of health. Kali still looking for the kill. Can she get it? She's done it before, but no, Thickest Kayak gets it and will secure the kill for the Raptors.
That is some really good rotation by Raptors, you know, spacing it out just right amount of time. We are going to see Kleena try to take down Odin's blue, does get it successfully, so that'll go over in the favor and push that Odin even further out of lane.
Yeah, doing a good job so far. Both level 10, so still keeping up with each other. Only 1 death. It was that Kali pickup. She's been doing a lot for her team, a participant on everything so far.
Good rotations too, from one side to the other. She is getting across that map, putting in that 10% movement speed from Golden Blade to the maximum.
For sure. I would guess an oboe potentially going to be coming in that next item. Doesn't go
no,
tier
it's
3,
T2.
it doesn't look like.
It's
yep,
T2, that standard quality build, just to get the attack speed, just to build it up, and you right away go into the final items. Probably won't finish that till near the end. I was always caught off guard when I would see that in the first, but I have, you know, looked at it, had tested it. That is the most optimal way to build Kali.
It's awesome. I love little niche builds like that. I mean, that's what kind of makes Smite, you know, just the little kind of things like that, as well as, you know, a good off pick. Like, I love seeing Dummy Slick here in mid lane on this kind of different pick, but here in the mid lane, speaking of it, a Rage Moose having to dash out as some poke came out on the side of the Raptors, and now they're retreating back into the jungle. And, you know, I want to give credit to him, you know, and Rage Moose kind of just been all around the map as well. I mean, Kali been a little more back and forth, has been able to capitalize just a little bit better, but Rage Moose has been starting most of these engagements here for the Rockhoppers.
Yeah, big question I want to ask you, though, for the Rockhoppers, because they did go this triple assassin comp. Have they been aggressive in this first 11 minutes enough? Because every minute that we tick closer and closer to the 25-30 mark is going to just add more and more favor in my mind to Raptors, who have that more balanced compensation, as well as having, you know, the 2 hunters.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit interesting. I mean, we do see a lot of stacking on the side of the Rockhoppers, which is interesting if you're going to be a more aggressive comp. As I speak, a Raptor's going to go ahead and start the Pyromancer. Odin jumping in on Jackamose trades. We'll see if they can get anything off of it. Raptors will secure that as Tiamat does hop in, but can she secure a kill? The Odin cage is out. Whirlwind Rage and Steel as well out for Xing Shen, but he's going to meet his demise. Zealous securing that kill, and now he's hungry for more, but Lessons is here. The ultimate is out. It will hit
Lessons
Tiamat.
is out of place, though.
Yeah, he's going to jump back towards that tier 1 tower. He'll save his life. He will end up living. He's been up in the play, but he's been able to get out. Has been the key, and been doing a good job of that. We just saw it again.
Cupid dash getting huge amount of value here for him. But we're going to see a heads up play right away from Rockhoppers, who just lost the pyro, but right away, they technically, get that TKO, push the team out a bit, get a kill. And now they're right away looking at the objectives. This is good heads up play. Cupid is looking for a steal, but won't probably be enough. Go in favor
Yeah,
of Rockhoppers.
unfortunately, Lessons is going to go down, but the start of the fight is going to continue as we do see Kali. Her ultimate is out, and she's looking for somebody, anybody, not going to find it. Instead, Giacomo's Trades finds her, and she's on the run now, invisible as well. And there's the one, and will finish him off. Giacomo's Trades securing that one, and now Dummy Slick looking for the second. Can he get it? Won't be able to just yet. Thickest Kayak now jumping in here, but out goes Cirquette, as well as Giacomo's Trades doing a lot of damage against these guys. We'll see if he can keep that up, as well as Uller fighting back, but not able to get any damage, and looks like we'll have a moment of peace.
Yeah, I mean, if you are going to go this triple assassin comp, it looks like they're just going for a late game delete comp on these squishies almost. Double stacking for everybody. We see both Soul Eater and Transcendence picked up by the Kleena. We're going to see quite a lot of damage come out of them. So maybe they're just opting for we're going to delete you before you even do damage, so we don't need a tank.
Yeah, well, and like you said, the most aggressive person on their team is the support. So, I mean, he's not been playing super supporty. Not that you should on Cirquette at all, but here comes Zealous. Speaking of aggressive, looking for a gank here into Soul Lane. Thickest Kayak going to meet him over there as well. Doesn't look like there'll be anything else over in the Soul Lane potentially. That Kali is over there as well. But yeah, I think, these guys are stacking, some even double stacking. Here we see Tiamat doing that in the mid lane. Yeah, this is for sure a late game comp. I don't think there's any reason, to assume otherwise, other than maybe the 3 assassins. But yeah, I mean, these guys are playing for that mid to late game, and we'll have to see if it pays off.
We're going to see quite a bit of aggression. I'm waiting to see how this 1v1 goes. We've just seen nothing but the jungles rotate over into duo, but now we're seeing a little bit of Cupid on Uller action.
But here comes the ultimate out for Dummy Slick. He wants blood. Can he find it? Is the question. Uller firing back. But here comes a rotation from Kali as well, retreating to the tier 1 tower, keeping him safe. We'll see if the engagement lasts, but now 3 members of the Rockhoppers hopping on him in mid lane. The ultimate out for Cupid. Zealous will secure that kill in mid, but Uller trying to run away. Looks like he'll live another day for the moment. Cirquette targeting that tier 1 tower in mid lane as the tier 1 tower in dual lane goes down. But
I know you might be saying that this Cirquette hasn't been supporting, but I don't think I've seen Cirquette miss many of these Cobra kisses. Those second abilities from her are just so spot on. And as somebody who doesn't play Cirquette a lot, but I've dabbled in her, that's not the easiest ability, especially to hit on both shots of that kiss. So, might not be supporting in the way that you're used to, but she's still getting those taunts quite well consistently.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean that ability, like you said, it's got 2 shots of it, excuse me. But if you can hit both, it can be super crucial. Like you said, I mean, all early game, I didn't see a miss whatsoever. Like I said, I don't know if I've seen a miss in this match. But Cobra Chris, that second ability. But yeah, I mean the taunt is so useful.
And look, you see her with the red. The beauty of Tiamat being able to split that buff. We are now seeing both of these middle units, both the support and mid, running around with red right around their waist. That Cirquette's going to be just pumping even more numbers out with being as aggressive as she's been.
Yeah, 100%. And that just proves that they want the aggression and they're looking for it. But yeah, Tiamat, great ability. Another little niche thing about Smite, you can go ahead and pick up a buff twice with Tiamat. But we'll have to see, if the play is going to be the green buff. Of course, it can help other buffs last, a little bit longer. But so far, all I've seen is that red buff being duplicated.
Yeah, you like the red. The green's the easy one because it's right there. But the speed also. I've always, as Tiamat, preferred the red speed combo. Just get that extra movement speed to really get in and out of fights. But we are going to see teams kind of posture around the pyro right now.
Yeah, we did see a jump in, a bird bomb out for the Odin. Now he gets a stun off as well. Giacomo's Trades is the target, but now backing off. 16 minutes into this game, both these teams may be looking for a Pyromancer.
Yeah, and actually Odin's doing a fair amount of damage now to that Kleena, even in levels. 0 and O stat line. Um, for an Odin, especially having that lane matchup, not dying at any point in the early game, I gotta really give him props there because that was a lane that's extremely hard to fight out.
For sure, and we still see people gathering here on the right side of the map. About 5 members of these teams still looking for Pyromancer. Gold is up, so we'll have to see, if there's a play that way as well to the left side of the map. But so far, both these teams, kind of prioritizing getting that neutral objective.
Yeah, and the trebuchet popping over into the middle lane there, sitting just at the back end of the Phoenix for Raptors. Kind of unfortunate with the fact that Tiamat can throw minions and, not completely cripple it, but, lower it than a traditional mage in lane. So I would have maybe preferred to see it on the left duo lane, but we'll see kind of what we get. We see them pop it right down. So I'm expecting that they rotate to the Pyro or Gold while the team's kind of distracted by this trebuchet pushing down mid.
And we do see some pings out for the Pyromancer. Rockhoppers with a lot of player damage. Top 3 right now are Rockhopper players, so they're doing a good job dishing out the damage. Here comes Sirket looking to taunt somebody to get him away from this Pyromancer's. Rockhoppers try to do it, but now having to pull off, and Rage Moose the only one on it, as well as the Raptors will steal it away. Uller having to jump out as well. But now Sirket on the run will catch up to Kali, and down and goes the Kali. We'll have to see if there's anything more here. Here comes Enraged Moose. Giacomo's trades, secures a kill. Odin Cage is out, securing 2 members of the Rockhoppers, maybe 3. Thickest Kayak still trying to push back these Rockhopper members, but Lessons is in. The ultimate is out as well, and now Corbin trying to get over here in the fight. Bird Bomb back up and down as Zealous having to dash out, but now Odin on the run. Giacomo's trades gets a kill as well. Only one alive for the Raptors is Thickest Kayak.
You know what? That was an extremely longer fight than I thought it was going to be. The way that Sirket was deep diving, chasing, I thought that was going to be a quick sandwich. Good on Raptors to, minimize the damage there. They did lose 3 players. Kali and Shinchen still able to escape, though, which kind of limits the capability of Rockhoppers here. We're not going to see them probably go for Fire Giant. They took too much damage. They're going to probably just look to push up waves. Maybe look for a gold, but honestly, with that Cherno back up now, it's not as safe as it once was.
Trebuchet does fall here in the mid lane, now heading over to Gold Fury. Potentially Oracles are dropped on the side of the Rockhoppers, but now Primal Fury being started by the Rockhoppers as well.
This
4
is free,
members
I
over
think,
here.
for the most part. Kali over there and right really does limit the counter potential.
Yeah, it was a little tricky there for a moment, but Rockhoppers do secure it, getting that extra gold. But we'll have to see. Red buff now is the target for the Raptors. Maybe a look from the Rockhoppers. It doesn't look like that's the play. Pinging out now instead. Just the farm. Rockhoppers, though, doing a good job of keeping their gold lead. Just 2K right now.
Yeah, which isn't that bad. Actually, from the way that the fight was going, we saw first blood there at 2 minutes. The kills kind of stagnated for a bit up until that team fight there at the Pyro and again at the Gold. So now, however, with the Gold Fury going in the favor of the Rockhoppers, they are going to deal that extra damage. I believe it was not the Oni Fury. No. So they are going to do a little bit more damage over into the larger jungle camp. So makes it a little bit easier for them to look to this Fire Giant if they can get, a little TKO, push out some players, maybe even get a pick or 2.
21 minutes into this game now. Both these teams 9-3 was a lot of aggression early, but not as much here in the mid to late game. Kerbis, what do you think is the reason for that?
Just some really good plays by both teams in knowing their matchup. You can definitely tell that these are the 2nd and 3rd ranked teams. They're playing in a very similar skill gap. I don't see one team dominating the other, but I'm going to
what
hold
an
that thought as Uller gets a fantastic solo kill over onto Cupid.
Yeah, he'll go ahead and get that. He landed 2 in that sequence, and that was enough. The beads couldn't help Cupid get out with his life. He does go down, and now
That's what I've been waiting for all game. I keep seeing the guys rotated. I wanted the 1v1, and I finally got it.
And they might get another here. Kali having to dash out. Just 1 bar of health left. Zealous now going to the jungle. He's looking for that kill. The pings are out. They know he's there. And now jumping in is Enraged Moose. Dummy Slick having to jump out as there was 2 members of the Rockhoppers there in that fight. Some good poke damage as well from Giacomo's trades. And now, yeah, Fire Giant is the play. The dance has begun. And the question is, who's going to get it? A player advantage right now to the Rockhoppers. They're going to start a fight because they want it. They need it. And they're going to jump right in. Now, Corbin, LD having to jump out. Bird Bomb will secure him out of there. And now back to the dance. But, I mean, if you're the Rockhoppers right now, Kerbis, what's the play?
I mean, you push Fire Giant. You guys took Primal. It's 7% more damage and reduct damage. You can at least bait them to come in and maybe, you know, get some solid alts onto this team. Get another pick. I mean, this Tiamat is doing a lot, especially with Circuit kind of just having to be stuck in place. Tiamat is just dropping everything they have on top of it. We see the alt come out. We see the stun come out. The Cobra's Kiss, and then the last kiss from the alt.
Kali
Kali.
trying to get the jump here on the Tiamat, not going to get it. 2 members of Rockhoppers jumping on it. Now Kali barely living. The ultimate's what keeps her alive. But here comes Xing Shen looking to push back the Rockhoppers if possible. But Enraged Moose not going to let him do that for free. Looking to fight Zealous, blinking in, looking for Dummy Slick. Not going to find it, but the Fear No Evil is out. Lessons in trouble. He'll get obliterated. Giacomo trades, secures the kill. Now Enraged Moose as well fighting. Whirlwind of Rage of Steel is out. Odin Cage as well. As Thickest Kayak on the run. Uller does secure a kill. And now we'll have to see if Thickest Kayak can get out. But no, the mosh pit that is the Rockhoppers will overcome him. And now the Fire Giant is the play.
That's what I wanted to see. I was worried that they might look at this Odin and try to chase for that kill, but good heads up play over here by the Rockhoppers to realize we knocked out. We got 3 picks. We TKO'd the other one. The only one left that's Odin. Odin's got no alt. This should be a free Fire Giant here for the Rockhoppers. Very good play.
Could be a little scary, and Rage Moose just trying to keep Odin off of it. They will get it, and now jumping in on him. He's low. Can he get out? No. Giacomo's trades once again securing the kill. Top of his team right now, 6-1-4, and it shows why. But now Fire Giant on the side of the Rockhoppers. What's the first thing you do with it?
Push down a lane. That's the best benefit. At this point, all the lanes are kind of neutral, so favorably, I go into that duo. There's 2 towers there, you know. When you have Fire Giant, you always like to either start or end in the duo lane. Most important Phoenix is that duo Phoenix because it is the farthest from the Fire Giant, the hardest to defend, the easiest to get somebody to back on.
And what's so cool is both these teams, you know, it is 14-3 right now. The gold lead is building. XP lead as well is up there, as we do see some people starting to hit that level 20 mark. But, I mean, this match has felt close almost the entire time. I mean, these guys are great, both 3 and 2. I mean, these guys are playing just like they're those ranks, and I've been impressed so far.
And to be honest, this was Raptors' game at the start. They were definitely leading. They had the advantage. Like we said, as this team ticked further and further, to my surprise, this triple jungle comp, triple assassin comp is actually coming online the further this game goes. I was expecting it to be a little bit more early, but the way that they built, the way that they stacked really seems to be favoring them here right now at the 25-minute mark.
Yeah, pretty funny that you do see, what is that, 4 members, everyone but the Circuit stacking at this moment. We do see the Gold Fury as well go down, some pings
Thieves
out.
is a stacking item, so technically all 5.
This is why you're the chair too, man. I mean,
I
you
know.
got me. But no, definitely, yeah, definitely a stacking item there in Thieves. But Rockhoppers here into the dual lane. They're looking potentially for something. Kali over here, Zealous trying to get the drop on her, not going to. She's going to turn right around, and Rage Moose now coming around from behind as this tier 2 tower crumbles. Rockhoppers heading down. Maybe looking for this Phoenix play. We'll have to see. Tiamat already engaging. And it looks like it will be a Phoenix play. They're going to start the Phoenix Siege. We'll see if they come out successful, but now having to pull back as we do see Tearing the Veil does come out. One charge of a Kali ran into the wrong crowd, having to jump right back out, right through the door. Says no thank you, as we did see everyone from Rockhoppers turn around and jump on top of her, but left Phoenix still alive, now heading here to this mid tier 2 tower instead.
Yeah, and I mean, Kali used to be the Penta Queen, so no matter how far behind you were, if you had a Kali, you were still in the game. But honestly, with gods like Tiamat in the meta now, and Glina specifically, there's just so much damage that comes onto Kali that if she can't get a pick, early and doesn't have ult available, she might not ever get close enough to that penta.
Yeah, look at Kali right now as she's going to get hit with the ultimate from Serket, but now she's going to pop hers just to stay alive and outlast, but not going to. Jack of most trades will secure the kill. Dummy Slick jumping into that tier 2 tower as it just barely crumbles, getting away with his life, but Zealous trying to secure his death instead, not going to. And now we'll see what Odin can do. The cage is out, but Tiamat with the first kill. Rockhoppers hungry, looking for another. Potentially lessons. Zealous is in there, but no, Tiamat gets the other one. And now the Phoenix, middle Phoenix dwindling, going down. Dummy Slick trying to defend and not able to step up as there's too much pressure here on the side of the Rockhoppers.
And Tiamat just being able to spam abilities, making sure that Archmage's gem is always at max stacks, is just providing so much damage. If you watch these combos coming out of the Tiamat, anyone she looks at is getting deleted and then cleaned up or stuck in place by this Serket. Tremendous combo.
Yeah, 100%. 2 Phoenixes down now. We do see Winions pushing in here on the left into the Titan room. So the 2 members here up for the Raptors, soon to be 4, it looks like. They're going to have to pull off a big defense or maybe even a Fire Giant steal, I think, to get back into this game.
Yeah, not to sugarcoat it, but 28 minutes into the game, kills be damned. We're at 12k gold. Gold spike is one thing. The level spike is going to be the biggest. If Raptors can hold off long enough to at least hit equal levels and equal builds, 10k gold, not going to be the end of the world for them. Right now, though, we're going to see the biggest impact with this entire team being 20, almost full builds. It's going to be really hard to defend. I mean, luckily, though, they have an Odin cage, which provides a lot of zoning.
Yeah, and it's been real useful so far. From what I've seen, has been mostly a defensive utility so far in this match, but still really useful. I'm caging in about 3 members there on the last Fire Giant fight. Really helped out the Raptors. Still didn't go in their favor, but it definitely helped swing the fight for a moment. But speaking of a fight, Kali hopping in, looking for SM Specify. Can he get out? Is the question, but no, Fear No Evil is out. Zealous secures the kill, jumping on the other jungle. Dummy Slick coming in here, but no, he turned right back around. Uller secures the kill. Odin Cage is out, but Cupid Ultimate secures the kill onto that Uller. Now Zealous hurt, having to leave. But Odin chasing Bird Bomb up and down secures the kill. Tiamat grabs one. Jack of most trades grabs one. And now a 3v1. Odin the only one left. Tiamat found her prey. We'll see if she's able to catch up there.
And we're going to see the other two. The other two are just running straight to end the game. They know. Tiamat's going to keep this Odin from backing, and they're probably just going to push up Winions with a total countdown of about 20 seconds. Actually, it's going to be pretty close. Depends on how much damage this Kleena can get off before we see the Kali spawn in.
We do see Tiamat just still chasing this Odin into Phoenix. Titan at about 3/4 health. As a Trebuchet runs down that right lane, but now Odin's the only one in here. Can he do it? Can he defend? But no, having to pull out that shield at about a 4th health now is the Titan. Not much left. Can they do it? Rockhoppers secure the win and secure game 1.
Very well played game by both teams. We see the Rockhoppers, the 3rd place team, do take over the 2nd place here in the match. But I do think we're in store for another great set of game.
Yeah, definitely was a fun one. Some great stat lines all around. Rockhoppers take that pretty handedly, but was really fun to watch for sure.
And even funner to cast, if that's a word.
Definitely. But both these teams, I mean, had some great stat lines. 1-0-15 for the Serket. No deaths on the side of the Tiamat as well. 4-0-9. You got to give it to Kali on the other side. Had all that pressure early, just couldn't withstand the middle late game. Everyone stacking, getting so much power on the other side. And yeah, I mean, Jack of most trades had a great game. 8-1-8. Played really well. He was involved in everything, and was really fun to watch.
And I got to take offense. You were saying that Serket wasn't playing really supporty. Look at that. 19 wards. That is support level wards. That is more than you play, AA. That is a support.
Yeah, well, you might have me there, but no, he played really well, like you said. Used all of his utility, used the ultimate, just perfectly there on the Kali. And credit to this team. They deserve the win and they got it.
Yeah, and that'll be the end of game 1, and we'll hand it off to our other pair of So You Think You Can Casters.
And I've been chillin', watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our cloudlands when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Cause you got me holding. And I'll be running, possessed by a low, low voodoo. Fired up like a wolf on a full moon. And we're stuck in a la la land. The tides will turn without us. And I'll be killing time like I might be a cartoon. Take it in real life like haiku. I know we got the good vibes when pieces fall right into place. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Cause you got me holding. Play me like a bass guitar. Simmer down and mess me up. Tripping like I'm Jimmy at Woodstock. Drive me around in your red Ford. Shivers down my spinal cord. Cause you got me holding, holding. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding,
Here we go again. Trying hard, but you wanna be my friend. Ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. Here we go again. Call my bluff, I'ma be here till the end. I'm the one you ride, I'm the one you ride to. If you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. If you don't wanna change, I can help you out. 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 Here we go again. Time is up and I'm calling up my friends. Ain't no wonder why, ain't no one to ride to. Here we go again. Call me up and you wanna be my friend. I'm the one you ride.
with a slow motion crew. And we up in our growlings when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. 'Cause you got me holding. Cause you got me holding. And I'll be running, possessed by a low, low voodoo. Fired up like a wolf on a full moon. And we're stuck in a la la land. The tides will turn without us. And I'll be killing time like I might be a cartoon. Take it in real life like haiku. I know we got the good vibes when pieces fall right into place. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. 'Cause you got me play me like a bass guitar, simmer down and mess me up, tripping like I'm Jimmy at Woodstock. Drive me around in your red Ford, shivers down my spinal cord. Oh. 'Cause you got me holding. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding.
Here we go again. Trying hard, but you wanna be my friend. Ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. Here we go again. Call my bluff, I'ma be here till the end. I'm the one you ride to. If you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. If you don't wanna change, I can help you out. 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 I can help you out.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Quack and Smite League. I am the voiceless one, going to be joined today by Archangel, going to be my chair number 2. How you doing out there, Archangel?
I'm doing pretty good. Hanging in there, having a good time. It's a good game 1, but excited for game 2.
We are more than excited for game 2. We're going to be casting this one. It's going to be live for y'all very soon, and we're excited to see what happens now between the number 2 and number 3 seeds here in the mid division of the QSL. It's going to be Rockhoppers versus the Raptors, and we are launched into picks and bans right now.
Yeah, I mean, game number 1 was kind of a, interesting one, so to speak. You had a team that was just full damage dealers, so to speak. The Circuit support, obviously going tanky as you have to, but those sort of assassin-like characters. 3 assassins in that game, and so it was a very interesting game. But they ended up coming out on top. But once again, the Rockhoppers have first pick here.
And based on what we saw in game number 1, is there anything you're looking to see either team make any major adjustments here as we enter the ban phase? Anything they really need to take care of before this game gets underway?
Well, Raptors losing game number 1 usually often means that they get to, have the side selection, chaos or order. And so they've elected to go for the second pick, which tells me they're probably going to change up how they want to play their draft. They're okay with the blue side maybe getting one OP pick, kind of like last game, but this time they're gonna maybe look to change up something. I don't mind sticking with the idea of like having a double hunter, but I'd like to maybe see a little more pressure out of the soul lane, or maybe a pressure out of some lane. Last game they kind of just got rolled over a little bit, and they didn't really have pressure anywhere, and the Cupid kind of got sat on. And this game I'd like to see a little bit stronger in their side lanes, I think.
Well, from the bans in the first round, we see generally pretty solid stuff across the board. Tsukiyomi going to be a target ban once again against the jungle on the side of the Raptors. So, other than that, though, everything looking pretty meta as far as bans go, and Umoja going to be our first pick. Tell me about this. Why do you think they prioritize this so highly, Archangel?
I mean, Enraged Moose just had a great game 1, and we kind of talked a little bit between the break, and we did a little research. It is his most played support god, Yamoja, and just a generally good god. Yamo really does set the tone of how you want to run your draft. It really identifies how you want to play, and so it's going to be up to the Raptors here on how they want to play against the Yamoja. You're going to require a lot of jumps. You're going to maybe want to look at an Awelix as a potential counter, but right now the floor is really on the Rockhoppers here on how they want to execute their draft here.
Speaking of which, they are up next to pick. Going to be interesting to see what they prioritize so much. Obviously, last game they went for that Odin Cupid pick, trying to get those overlapping circles. Didn't quite plan out for them the way they would have liked. And now Soul going to be picked up as, I'm assuming, the ADC. Is this I'm assuming this is the duo lane right here we're looking at, right?
Yeah, I mean, Raptors kind of went for this double ADC last game, and it looks like they're going to run it back, that sort of same style. Going with a Soul this early on, though, does kind of identify that idea. I would have liked to have seen maybe the mid hunter, a god like Chiron that can kind of flex to ADC in mid, and AMC can kind of do the same, more than likely going to go to the mid lane, but maybe they're concerned about just getting probably one of the best, though I guess Oleron is still pretty good. Maybe they're just concerned about getting lessons on this Soul in particular, though. Tiamat locked in once again. This is probably Xerath's most played god. I would say I've, played a little bit with her in the past. She's a very strong Tiamat player. And if I were to honestly guess, potentially another Uller for SM specified, though it is the Kali lock-in instead.
I was about to say, after the way that the Tiamat and the Uller kind of ran the game last time, I was expecting to see them prioritized in some way, shape, or form on the red side here before we enter the second wave of bans, and it just hasn't happened, which means Tiamat and Kali, easy pickups, and I think the onus is really on the Raptors here to come up with some way to counter those picks, because they kind of got rolled by them in the last one.
Yeah, but it's the Serket snatch away, though. This is an interesting idea, because where do they pick up the Serket? So it's not going to go to support. It's not going to go to the jungle. So I guess Raptors have just kind of said, let's try our hand at it. Let's stick it in our jungle. More than likely, though, we could be Serket solo. Fino K played it once upon a time, but more than likely going to go to that jungle, if you ask me.
Yeah, that feels the most likely scenario here, is that we see Serket played against the Kali, which isn't a bad matchup for Serket. The taunt can really make her life a bit of a hell, but it's going to be interesting to see how that ends up playing out as far as late game team fights, because when that comes into play, it's really tough to say who really comes ahead in this one. As far as bans go, the Cupid and the Uller both taken off the field immediately, so neither team interested in playing against or with those ones from the last game. Odin as well taken off the field, so that was a bit of a sore spot that will now be removed for the Rockhoppers, and Rama going to be the final one removed from the game.
I love this Bologna snatch away. Raptors have kind of already telegraphed that they want to go for a double ADC composition, and across the way you're going to probably have 2 auto attackers at the very least, in the sense we have a Kali jungle. So the Bologna snatch away just to kind of deal with those auto attack carries. I really like this look here from the soul laner here for Raptors this time around.
Yeah, I mean, on an 8-second cooldown, if you line them up correctly, you can get both of those auto attackers just sitting there, kind of just looking at you for a couple seconds. And Bologna herself, if you go into the sword and shield build, can also absorb those attacks. So she's going to be excellent for dealing with those auto attackers. Be interesting to see if we see anybody else who has that disarm ability get picked up. Only really remaining here is probably a hunter for the side of the Raptors. So it'll be interesting to see who they end up picking as their, well, it doesn't have to be a hunter, I suppose.
No, it doesn't have to be, but I think you can definitely afford to. You have a couple options, though. I guess I was going to say AMC. AMC doesn't do too well into Yamoja, Kali, Sobek. So probably, if I were to guess, Chiron is your best option here if you're the Raptors. Though I could elect for something very different, and it will be the Camazotz.
Wow,
Okay.
so the hunterless combo coming out from the Raptors. Soul, obviously, bit of a soft hunter, but still officially on the board. Nobody in that ADC role that works quite the way you think it does, and that's going to mean strange things for Camazotz and Serket. Do you think Camazotz will be placed in the jungle, or is he going to be a solo Camazotz?
So, this is a tough one, because if I were to look at the draft, I would want Camazotz in a side lane. So I'd probably want him either in soul lane. I want him in carry, honestly, because Camazotz, once upon a time could be played in the carry role. So could see him there. But in my honest opinion, it's probably going to go mid, just because, we've seen a lot of Susano, Tsukiyomi even. Today we saw Kabrak in mid out of Shinto. So a lot of weird picks can kind of really slot in that mid lane very effectively. So if I were to say anything, I'd say it probably go there. Serket jungle, and then probably Bologna solo, usually because Bologna really needs those levels and those items to really make her effective against carries and diving and all that good stuff. Yeah. Classic soul lane stuff. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of the Camazotz per se in this pick, though it does give him a lot of survivability.
Yeah, that lifesteal going to be clutch, absolutely, for Dummy Slick. Well, I think we're going to throw it to a real quick break here, and then we'll be back at you with the start of game number 2.
And I've been chilling, watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our clouds when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. 'Cause you got me holding. And I'll be running, possessed by a low, low voodoo. Fired up like a wolf on a full moon. And we're stuck in a la la land. The tides will turn without us. And I'll be killing time like I might be a cartoon. Take it in real life like haiku. I know we got the good vibes when pieces fall right into place. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. 'Cause you got me holding. like I'm Jimmy at Woodstock. And drive me around in your red Ford. Shivers down my spinal cord. Oh. 'Cause you got me holding. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word. 'Cause you got me holding. Even if my jokes sound funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word. 'Cause you got me
Welcome back, everybody, to game number 2 between the Rockhoppers and the Raptors. Game number 2 in this set between our number 2 and number 3 seeds in the mid division here in the QSL. I am the voiceless one, joined today by my wonderful chair 2 Archangel, and we are excited and ready to cast this second game between these two teams, which goes live in 5 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, this should be an interesting one. You know, a lot of adaptations this time around from the Raptors. You know, very different style of play. You know, not going with the double AA sort of mid ADC. You know, instead with the Camazotz in the mid lane here this time around. It's going to be very interesting to see how that one works out for them.
Yeah, and on the other side, going into the mid lane of this Tiamat, you also have the Cirquet mixing with, like you thought, the Camazotz in mid. So that will end up being the matchup, and I'm very interested to see how that ends up playing out, because that's going to be just the strangest mid lane I ever did see.
So, Dummy Slick, you know, behind the scenes, well, not really behind the scenes, is originally a jungler main. You know, he plays a lot of those assassins, so could just be going towards something he plays a lot. You know, in his ranked games, in his casuals, whatever, he's playing those assassins. So maybe just looking towards something he's a little more comfortable on mechanically. You know, this time around, and it is the soul in the long lane as well, so they are gonna get that sort of tower damage and structure damage that they need in the late game. So I'm honestly a big fan of this draft from the Raptors.
It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I only questioned the Camazotz mid just because I wonder how you're going to end up dealing with all the long-range poke that a Tiamat provides. Feels like you're going to be bullied out of lane pretty handily in the early to mid game, unless something really drastic happens here. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Speaking of drastic, heading in and using the taunt, Kexan trying to get a little bit off onto Zarzith, but she'll manage to get back underneath the tier 1 tower to safety for the time being.
And that right there, I think, is where the difference maker will have to come from the Raptors in this mid lane. It will be from Kexan, I think, on the Circuit. You know, high mobility jungler, gonna be roaming a lot. Anytime that Dummy Slick maybe needs a little bit of help in clearing that lane, you know, Kexan can just walk right over after clearing some camps and really help him alleviate that pressure and just help him clear the wave. And Kexan's not going to complain about that little bit of extra farm in this mid lane. This is kind of where Dummy Slick gets to play aggressive.
Going in, throwing out a little bit of damage, dropped to about 40% health is Zarzith. Backing away for the time being will be all right. Dummy Slick reticent to go any further forward than that. Over here in the dual lane, see the side camps being taken, but an invade is attempted. Looks like those harpies were split across the board, and everyone's just going to back away for the time being.
Yeah, but I mean, check it out. Dummy Slick's over on that red buff, going to get this invaded. This is kind of what a Camazotz mid can do. It's not necessarily about the wave clear pressure or the poke potential. It really is just that threat of that all in from a Camazotz against a Tiamat early game that is going to give him that little bit of an advantage on, you know, buff invades or just pressuring out for those left mids that we saw him push Zealous away from. You know, he had to give those up and ended up getting the big harpy. So this is where Dummy Slick is going to get his small little advantages in this early game. Though once Xerath starts to get those few items that she desperately needs as a Tiamat or mage player in general, that's where the tables will start to turn for the side of the Rockhoppers.
So in the long term, I'm curious who you like better over in this solo lane, just as far as running the lane itself, not as a whole team comp, but just who do you think runs this lane a bit better in the solo over here?
I mean, it really does kind of go even. You know, Sobek is just going to be one of those clear bots early and is really playing for, you know, that late game as Orban does take a tower shot, but Nothing too crazy after that. So yeah, it is just going to be a bit of a stale lane right now. And for a long time, I think, Corbin will have that slight clear advantage, but nothing too crazy. I think it kind of really identifies who's playing for what stage of the game. Raptors have that Kemzat's mid. They have the Circuit. They have a Ganesh, Soul, Bologna. They're going to be playing for that, early mid game. While Rockhoppers, you look at their draft, they're all about the late game.
Yeah, personally, I'm not the craziest about this Sobek pick. It kind of feels, at least in my opinion, like most of his identity is wrapped up in the pluck. Hang on, hold that thought. Dummy Slick getting rotated on in the mid lane here, taken down to about 50% health. The enemy jungler has arrived to help, and using the Bat Out of Hail combined with the taunt means Zarzith goes down. The first blood goes the way of the Raptors.
Yeah, I mean, Zealous just was not level 5, and Kexon's, just kind of all over the map right now, getting on top of his farm. And so he's able to come in late off of that, and Dummy Slick having that Bat Out of Hell is just going to mean he's going to be able to survive the initial gank. So really good start for the Raptors here. Very different changeup from their game number 1 pacing.
Anyway, back to my original point. I'm not craziest about this Sobek, just because it feels like his identity is really wrapped up in the pluck, and if you miss that, he just kind of stares at you for a few seconds. Like, what's he gonna do? Like that axe or the little whip tail thing? Like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel that great if you miss that. I honestly would have preferred maybe something like a Cerberus who could have grabbed the whole team using that Stygian Torment and also has, built-in Prot Shred and things like that. But we'll have to see how that plays out as the game goes on.
Yeah, I will say, I think it is a bit of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. The Ganesh across the way is really going to put a hindrance on that. Giacomo's trades, he goes into pluck, the silence. He wants to tail whip after he goes into pluck, he's silent. He can't do that. He needs to get away with his ulti. Oh, he's silenced. And the Dharmic Millers on top is going to be really a pain in the butt for him, because he's not going to be able to get away as effectively, going to take a lot of damage for it. So I agree. If he plucks and misses, or if he plucks and hits, it's going to look very unfortunate for Giacomo's trades. And you could kind of see how much Raptors respect this Sobek in this early game. It's just 2 sets of beads right now. So maybe late game we'll see a couple more second relic beads, but right now it's just 2 beads.
Keep something to keep our eyes on as we reach level 12. A lot of damage in the duo lane going on to Lessons. Several auto attacks connecting in a row, going to force him back just for a little while. But that is kind of going to be the name of the game. Soul strong in the early game, thanks to some good late clear and some late game looking really good. But in the early game, I do feel like she's going to struggle up against the really quick stun that Specify has on the Hou-Yi.
Yeah, I mean, Hou-Yi, one of those mage killers in the hunter role, I'd say. Very good at kind of having lots of damage out of nowhere, and that's kind of what's really good against these sort of mage ADCs and like putting mages in that long lane in general. Soul, we see some Yu Huang, we see a bit of Morrigan. Hou-Yi's kind of one of those gods that can really effectively put down those mages in the long lane. And so that's kind of why I think Specify has gone for it, as opposed to the Uller this time around. So really good look for him. Late game, though, it is going to be Lessons, I think, who's going to have the upper hand a little more.
Oh, hang on. There's a clash brewing over here in the right lane. 4 players from Raptors had rotated over trying to potentially steal away the blue buff, but after it is taken, they all go their separate ways and give up on their designs for the time being.
Yeah, that's all about. Just looking for the blue buff, just getting the timer. It's down. Okay, we're all here. We just back up, go back to farming. And that's okay for the Raptors. They've really slowed this down. They haven't looked for a lot. They've kind of been grouping. They've been looking for the invades, but they haven't really, they haven't blink ulted on a Circuit into the mid lane to try and get Xerath again. They've just really slowed it down, which I think they're okay with doing. They're cool with getting their items. They're cool with letting Rockhoppers make their mistakes a little bit in the mid game if they allow it. But right now it's going to be interesting to see, because Raptors, I think they're on the clock. They have the worst late game, I would say. So it really is on them to make the plays sooner rather than later.
Feels like they are, up against the wall here, and you're right, playing very delicately, kind of passive in the early game here. Look to see if that changes as the leap in, using the Moonstrike to get the stun onto Lessons, but Enraged Moose not able to deal the most damage in the world. Specify a little bit out of position, and now, oh my goodness, the ult's thrown down, and now silenced is Specify. Still has the leap on cooldown. If he needs to use it, there it goes to get him out, but the Dharmic Pillar's thrown down in response, uses the beads to avoid the slow, but will take damage. Now the sun's coming down, as long with the River's Rebuke, trying to find a kill onto Kayak. He's going to have to run back for the time being. And lurking in the jungle is Dummy Slick. I don't know if they have vision on him yet, but both the members of the Rockhoppers that are here are very weak, and they go underneath the tower looking for more. The Moonstrike fails to hit the stun, and Enraged Moose is almost certainly going to fall. Oh, the jukes are good. The silence is better. Bat out of Hell going to confirm the kill onto Enraged Moose. Everybody going to get away for now from the Raptors, picking up the kill they were looking for. But on the other side, wow, Kexen going to be falling over there as well. So things are equalized. Noticing the map pressure heavily put towards the left side, the Rockhoppers respond with a gank over on the right.
Support for jungle definitely worth for the Rockhoppers this time around. They get their first kill on the board for Xerath this time, and it's Kexen who falls on the right. So definitely a good look for the Rockhoppers. I don't like that dive from the Raptors. It's cool. You get the beads, you get the shell from the dual lane out of Rockhoppers, and then you just back up. And then you call your Saket over, and then you just go again. Instead, they really felt that they had to force it. Maybe this clock that they feel that they're on is really making them kind of, second guess whether they should go in or not, and instead they're just going in, and instead of playing it really carefully. I would like to see them, slow down, just get the small victories, and then come back again in like 30 seconds and just gank the Houyi. Lessons could be in a bit of trouble here. Specify has the damage to kill him.
Speaking of ganks, goes in, gets the stun up with the arrow, and then going to go more for Sunbreaker. Specify picks up the solo kill against Lessons. Lessons with no ward on the left side, and Specify will absolutely pounce and take advantage there. I really feel like Rockhoppers are just kind of running the map in a superior way right now. They've got the vision on the Gold Fury every single time it's there. Almost on cooldown. They're there to pick it up. So they have that vision over that middle area. They've got rotations down pat, and they're picking up solo kills just based on location and a lack of scouting. It just feels like Rockhoppers are kind of running the map the way they'd like to right now.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a really good job of keeping this ward control up on this left-hand side. It kind of allows Specify kind of do whatever he wants. And we saw in game number 1, Rockhoppers really favored that left-hand side. Specify was on an Uller pick, and so usually you do want to favor a lane like Uller, especially against a potential counter pick like Cupid. So it's really good to see that the Rockhoppers are allowing Specify to really play to his playstyle. If you've played against Specify, he really plays for that 1v1 potential, really trusting in his mechanics to really bring him ahead in these matchups like this. So really good showing that his team have rallied around that playstyle and have elected to really ward this left-hand side and make sure he gets a safe laning phase.
And off the back of that, he has picked up a bit of a lead, almost 2 levels, 1.5 or thereabouts over the Soul, but the Gold Fury immediately being pulled and taken by the Raptors. No vision on this whatsoever. They waited until the millisecond that the vision expired, and they took it for themselves. That is a quick Gold Fury taken by the Raptors, and I really like that decisive, quick team play in order to take an advantage of people just being a little out of position. Speaking of out of position, Zarza getting hit and knocked up over a bit in the mid lane, going to have some backup from her team to get her out of there for the time being, and some damage thrown onto the tier 1 tower to boot, so the gank not quite working out the way the Raptors would have liked there.
No, but they get the Gold Fury, and that's a very good win for them in this early game. Up around 2k at this point, 12 minutes in. Those Dummy Slick's going to keep going, looking for Xerath.
They want even more. Goes in, gets stunned. Not going to get much more than that. The lockdown, no good off of Xerath's number 2. He'll manage to get away for the time being. Look at the Bellona in the middle of the right side jungle. Thought about rotating in to maybe make something happen during that team fight. Seeing that it's over, is going to opt to back out. And over in left lane, also going to back out is Specify after taking the tower shot to the face.
Yeah, Jack on most trades. Oh, it looked like he was going to get ganked for a second there, but no, is okay on the right-hand side. But yeah, I mean, it's just okay, the good look there from Corbin. He pushes out his lane, and he immediately rotates into the upper right-hand side jungle for his lane, jungle, whatever. And immediately he's there to gank the mid lane. And that's a good sign, because if the fight keeps going, Raptors are in trouble. But Corbin's there to bail them out. So it's a good look there to see that kind of play going on. But overall, it is really hard to dive this TM at this point. 34 stacks on that Warlock staff at this point in the game. Lessons could be in a bit of trouble. Uses it to separate. Specify goes in.
Interesting timing there on the dash. I would have felt like he wanted to wait to use that until after Disapparate had expired, but oh well. Doesn't get much for his efforts, but they will do a lot of damage to Dummy Slick in the mid lane. Now, the Circuit has arrived, going to use the dash to get away from the Moonstrike, and everybody from the Raptors looking a little beat up and backed up underneath the tier 1 tower, using the Whirlwind to back them up even further. Trying to find just a little bit more poke here, maybe enough to go in and get a kill off the back of this. Dummy Slick getting a little bit aggro, going forward some more. Couple of members for the Raptors trying to look for something, not realizing the Rockhoppers are lurking right outside that lane. And you see, my goodness, you see Corbin walk in and be like, oh, I shouldn't be here. Oops, let me just see myself out here as he accidentally walks into 3 members of the Rockhoppers.
Yeah, Corbin has to be a little bit careful, but I mean, he's a level 13, now 14 Bologna. He's gonna be fine. Has gone for the Berserker shield, or sorry, Glad shield. It's usually the Berserker shield, but it's the Glad shield this time around. Xerath could be a bit of trouble. Gets silenced and ulted.
Gonna use the dash to get away. I believe beads were also burned there.
Yes, beads also burned.
Those are going to be offline for the next little bit, so a very small win off of a little bit of a misplay. Could have just played a little bit safer. Getting a little greedy, big for your britches will result in that kill. Going underneath the tower, trying to find more. The Disapparate is good. Down to about 10% health, using the ult to counter, not realizing there is somebody on the other side of the wall looking to take away the purple buff, and now going underneath, trying to find more. The Collie pops the destruction, trying to make sure that she gets the unkillable. Does get it, but Zealous, yeah, too much aggro, not going to be able to make it away. So Lessons, I think, absolutely feels justified in what happened there. I think you feel great if you're Lessons right now.
Yeah, I mean, Zealous gets the kill on Lessons, but overall, it's the Raptors who get the Pyromancer. Specify kind of caught out too far forward and dead. Dummy Slick gets that one. 3-0 for this Camazotz mid so far.
Yeah, I questioned it. We all were like, what? But hey, it is doing Dummy Slick dividends. We got no more questioning to do. As long as he can make the transition to late game and make those team fights big count in the way you'd like to, he is looking fantastic. Although looking at the player damage charts, despite the fact that we did just see Specify go down, man, he is in the lead. Look at how much damage he's managed to rack up so far.
Yeah, Specify's just done a lot of fighting, I think, in this lane. He's really exerted his pressure as a Hui Yi against the Soul. He's just constantly looking for those fights. Anytime he can, he's jumping in. Kind of pays for it that time around. Does get caught out and dies over by the purple buff, but unfortunate. Nothing much you can do about that. You're going for the tower dive. You're going for the tower. So he does come away with a good chunk of gold on that back. So I think I'm totally okay with that if I'm Specify there.
And as we reach the 16-minute mark here, I'm really satisfied with the way the Raptors have made this, mid-set adjustment. Oh, hang on. Going up here, Dummy Slick, bound to about 35% health. Going to have to use the bat out of hell to get himself away for the time being. Waiting in the wings, potentially looking for more, is Zealous. Going to leap and blink. Gets the stun off, trying to find more. Uses the shield to get him out safely. That is another relic down, but the tier 1 tower now stripped away. Now everybody from the Raptors is in the vicinity, and the Rockhoppers need to retreat. I don't think they realize that they're in quite this much trouble. A couple members actually have rotated, so it's a 4v4, 5v4 actually for the time being. Big silence, as you noted there. Camazotz rotating over, about to appear, which means that Hui Yi in the left side lane can push unabated for the time being. Going to take away that purple camp, trying to get away with it. Can he get it before Lesson shows up? No, he's going to let it go. Smart move.
He can still look for this. I mean, he's got Zealous in the wings ready to go. Corbin is also here, though in mid. Kexen dies. He took a good chunk of damage early on from that Tiamat. Just disrespected the damage, I think, a little too much. Kexen dies, and that's a big deal.
Yeah, I'm going to assume that was off the back of some sort of pluck or silence. Something had to have happened there. But now in a 4 versus 5, another big pluck goes the way of Jack of most trades. Dummy Slick has to gash to get out. Uses the ultimate from Soul to try and create some space. Will manage to do so, but with one player down, vision notwithstanding, the Rockhoppers are going to immediately turn and pull this Oni Fury. Raptors don't want to let this go for free, though. They're moving into the area.
Yeah, Rockhoppers are looking only for the fight. They got the MOL to work with. The Ganesh all pops out, and this could be a good fight.
They're going to let the Oni Fury leash for the time being. Ganesha still trying to do more.
Dummy Slick's going to get the gold.
Down Dummy Slick. He's still pulling the Oni Fury. The Raptors do get it off the back of that, but they're going to lose Thickest Kayak and Lessons off the back of that. I don't think this is a worth trade. You are going to get the Gold Fury. I guess it's an Oni Fury to be more specific. But off the back of it, you are going to lose 3, potentially 4 people. Maybe trying to get more onto a Raged Moose. Not quite going to get it. Yes, Dummy Slick with the bat out of hell will manage to confirm the kill. Going even further, trying to find more against her. That is Dummy Slick going down thanks to Zareth. And it's a deicide. They get the Oni Fury, but they lose 5 and only get 1 in exchange. The Rockhoppers have to be satisfied with that.
Man, Raptors almost made that worth so much. If Corbin just ulted out and Dummy Slick got out after stealing away that gold Fury, you take those wins as much as you can at this point. But they lose everyone. They go back in, they're like, oh, we can make this happen, and they almost do, and then Kexen arrives, and it's too little too late, and he falls down as well. Yeah, they definitely can. They're going to look straight towards this Fire Giant. They have the Kali. They have the Hui with crit. This Fire Giant is going to be on the table here for Rockhoppers after losing that Gold Fury.
It's going to be a bit of a close window. Kayak is in the area. Everybody else still kind of back in base, not respawned.
He's the only one.
Yet. Yeah, but if they don't realize that he's alone, they may be able to be, a little bit fooled out of this and think that it's not the right play. They're not buying it, though. Just rotating one away to deal with Kayak. Dark Pillars thrown down just as a stall. Yeah, Fire Giant now down to 20% health. Kayak now once again in the area, 5% health. Rockhoppers take it securely, using Zealous to zone away Kayak. And now with the Fire Giant buff on all of them, they're a little beat up, but they're looking to take this fight even further, moving forward.
Oh, Corbin goes in with the ultimate, and they're going to look for the fight anyway. Stellar Burst comes out onto the front side. Xerath kind of in a bit of no man's land, could get caught.
Yeah, uses the dash, but going kind of the wrong direction. She will fall, leaving just 4 players remaining here for the Rockhoppers. Fire Giant buff notwithstanding, you don't want to be at a man advantage at this point in the game. Using the tail whip just to get the knockup, making it back underneath the tier 2 tower, should be all the remaining members of the Rockhoppers. But yeah, everybody a little bit disjointed as far as that move, and it felt like a couple members of the Rockhoppers were trying to get out and a couple were trying to go in, and with that off the back of that miscommunication, they lose their mid laner.
Yeah, and they have the Oni minions pushing mid and left, and as Trebuchet pushing right. They are going to be able to get a good chunk of gold before they have to back up from this FG, and they're going to look for the Enraged Moose as well.
Going even further, Enraged Moose very tanky and now walled in thanks to that
Zealous silenced.
Huge silence going to keep that from going off, though. Now dashing out, Kexen going to be the first one to fall, looking for even more off the back of this. All the members of Raptors looking relatively low. Thickest Kayak one auto attack away from death, and it will connect. Just the only one remaining now for the time being is Corbin. He is pretty tanky and will manage to get himself out. No, Lessons goes down out right behind the Trebuchet. My apologies, she was hidden from my view, which means 3 members drop over on that right side in exchange for nothing. Off the back of a slight win, picking up Zarzith over out near the Fire Giant, they immediately lose 3, and that is not how they wanted to spend their advantage. Now Dummy's in trouble again.
Yeah, Dummy Slick gets that mid lane, could be in trouble here. Has the bat out of hell, so he should be all right here, I think.
Stun is on cooldown for the time being, but it should be off relatively soon. Any second now. Auto attacks are good. Wow, there's a just duel. Uses the destruction. Both ults exchanged on either side. Bat out of hell.
Looking for
try and catch up. Not going to get it. The pluck is too good, and Dummy Slick gonna pay for his hubris. Went too far forward trying to get the kill, and will end up paying for it. That's a staggered death. Lessons just now getting back up, but off the back of Dummy Slick, they've got 45 seconds of man disadvantage, and with the Fire Giant buff on 5, I think all of these tier 2 towers should be gone. Maybe a Phoenix off the back if they can find a little bit more here for their troubles.
Oh, that's a great silence. Specify is going to fall down here. Didn't have beads available to him, and that's a good catch onto Specify. Good look from the Raptors. Even if they're down, they're still looking for these little plays that can hopefully get them back into this game, or at least stall until they get to that late game.
And I mean, we say they're down, but in terms of gold, they're actually a little bit ahead. They're 700 gold in the lead right now, so Raptors far from out of this. They do fall behind in the kills column, but you know the old adage, kills don't buy things, gold does.
Exactly. And credit to Raptors, they've kind of been very, objective focused, I think. Outside of that Fire Giant, they've been on top of these Pyros, they've been top of the Gold Furies. Dummy Slick gets caught, but he secures away that Gold Fury though. Kayak could be in trouble.
It was a beautiful route. The timing off of the pluck into the root from the Tiamat was beautiful. Kayak took a lot of damage. He now gets plucked once again.
Oh, but the team is here.
Trouble. Uses the shield to get himself just a little bit more health, down to about 5% health. Only a couple auto attacks will definitely do him in, and they will. Jack of most trades confirms the kill. And off the back of that, Thickest Kayak goes down once again. The Soul was in left lane, and the Rockhoppers could see that. They had vision on that, so they weren't afraid to take that fight because they knew they had a man advantage, especially off of Kayak being so low. You knew he wasn't going to be able to offer much up in that fight, and immediately the Rockhoppers make Raptors pay for it.
I don't know if it's on Kexen or Lessons or who, but somebody has to be calling that Lessons isn't there. Our goal is literally we're getting Kayak out and then we're backing up. It was kind of like what Rockhoppers did around that Fire Giant. Some people wanted to go in, some people wanted to get out, and the split calls really does punish the front line most, I think. So unfortunate for Kayak, he suffers from that. Dummy Slick now going to get caught here by the members of Rockhoppers, who are just hunting him down every time he's evading that red buff. Anytime he's looking for anything on the map in the enemy jungle, he is getting caught for it.
Yeah, it feels like the Rockhoppers have a brilliant read on exactly what Dummy Slick's doing. Every time he disappears from the minimap, they're all just like, hey, right side jungle, or left side jungle, everybody go, 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 go. and they find him and they take him out. That's the second or third time we've seen him not even trying to go for that much, just pushed up a little bit too far, and the Rockhoppers find him and punish him immediately. Speaking of being punished, Zealous now looking to try and make Kexen pay for pushing up so far, but it's actually Kexen who gets the kill. Huge damage off the back of that poison going to result in the jungle for Rockhoppers going down, Raptors getting a shot in the arm when they need it most.
That was a 52-second death timer here, and look what's spawning the Fire Giant. Dummy Slick's up in 6 seconds. The Raptors are going to be have the advantage initially around this Fire Giant. They're going to be the ones, that can get that war control and can look for that aggressive positioning. So would like to see them start grouping up around this right-hand side, looking for war control and then potentially a pick. If they get a second pick, that Fire Giant is as good as free.
Yeah, they're really going to need to get one, though. You can see in the mid lane, that Trebuchet pushing up is going to result in some pressure, and Lessons wants to clear that before they rotate over to the Fire Giant, which is going to mean that by the time that's there and all 5 members of the Raptors are here, there's only about 10 seconds left on Zealous's cooldown. So that's going to be a very small window for the Raptors to try and pull and take out this Fire Giant with all the members of Rockhoppers nearby. This is going to be a very thin margin for things to work out here. The Dharmic Pillar gets dropped in the back line.
Oh, Kexen.
Serket goes in, tries to get a lot of damage, does get a lot of damage onto Specify, and then Kexen gets himself out. The Giant leashes, and it seems both teams are happy to let this go for the time being. And if you're the Rockhoppers, that's a win.
Yeah, I mean, Zealous is going to be back up here. But I mean, Kexen is chunking at this point. If he can get one good full combo off on a backliner with no beads at this stage in the game, he will one-shot them. Well, I guess one-shot them in the sense of he will full combo them. But it's a good look for Kexen because, Serket, not often known for this late game, but I mean, he is just swinging right now. And with the Dharmic Pillars on top of that combo, is just going to, extend how good his combo is even further. So good to see, the Raptors, they're kind of losing a little bit, but not by much. So they're still in this competition.
Yeah, and it really feels like this game is teetering on a knife's edge at the moment on this Fire Giant dance of death we tend to see happen. Whoever comes away with a major advantage in terms of a big team fight or even just taking the FG itself could probably walk away with the game at this point, just because we're getting into late game territory.
Oh, Kexen goes in, gets plucked though, and then is immediately pulled back in. The fight's breaking out.
And he used the leap to get himself away from the root. Now, be advised, the Zealous is not here. He was clearing mid lane. He has to rotate over. They will manage to get Kayak out away from the Rivers of Buke, but not far enough to avoid the knockup and the Suns to take him down. 2 other members from the Raptors very low and going to have to retreat back underneath the tier 1 tower. And Dummy Slick, once again, we've said it before, we'll say it a million times, caught out and headed the wrong direction. He's using time to stall at this point. I don't know if they let him go and just leave him or if they're really going to chase him down. No, they leave him alone and they're going to take the Fire Giant for themselves.
Yeah, but I mean, Dummy Slick is still nearby, has that ultimate available to him. They didn't really burn much on the side of Raptors. They still have all these ults, so they could definitely contest this Fire Giant. Looks like they want to.
They're in the area. Kexen and Dummy Slick both going in, bat out of hell, trying to find some damage. They leave the Fire Giant too high for Dummy Slick to try and steal it away. Now using more to try and go against Kexen. The destruction was popped by College.
Oh, Dummy Slick!
He didn't die. The Raptors steal away the Fire Giant! And Zarz ticks off Dummy Slick on the other side. More of a deny than an actual steal, but they'll take it because they keep the Fire Giant out of the Rockhoppers' hands. Only 3 members will end up with it around their waists, but that was a heroic play from Dummy Slick in order to keep the Rockhoppers away from the FG.
Dummy Slick once again saying, I don't need to fight these people around me. I'm just going to hit this objective in front of me. Does it again. This time it's the Fire Giant. And that's going to be 3 members with this FG 27 minutes into the game. Not going to be a clear advantage, in my opinion, because they lose Dummy Slick. Their siege is going to be slow. But I agree. It's a huge denial for the Rockhoppers. That extends the game at least another 5 minutes, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the Rockhoppers can take some solace in the fact that the biggest damage dealers, well, I guess only Lessons being a big damage dealer who does have, I should say Kexen has actually been doing a lot more damage than we thought he has. Going deep into the side of the Void Camp, trying to find more onto Zarzeth, who is all alone, definitely going to be struggled. And the Dharmic Pillars confirm the kill. Lesson trying to get more, going even deeper, looking for more with the ultimate, but the Breaker of the Suns comes on down, trying to find even more. So much damage onto Jack of Most Trades, trying to get back underneath the tier 1 tower. The tower is starting to chunk down Corbin. He's looking for even more. Specify, using the leap to get out. Kexen uses the leap of his own to get underneath and confirm the kill onto Specify. 2 dead here for the Rockhoppers. Jack of Most Trades also incredibly low, but with a couple members of the Raptors also low, it looks like this Phoenix will live for the time being. But pressure has definitely been put onto the Rockhoppers.
Yeah, Corbin has TP though, and he's back, and so is Dummy Slick. 2 dead for Rockhoppers. This is probably the Phoenix Siege definitely going to happen here.
They're sure looking for it. The TP coming in on the other side. You can see that coming in right
Watch
there.
Kexen.
Jack of most trades. Kexen trying to find a taunt off the back end onto Zealous. Doesn't quite hit it, but Zealous is still in trouble anyway because Dummy Slick is in the vicinity and he'll take down Zealous. Now only 2 people remaining for the Rockhoppers. Sarzit's back up in 1, but now the members of Raptors are looking to take down more Phoenixes, maybe even the Titan if they can get another kill or 2 off the back of this one. They're going to play it safe. After getting the second Phoenix, they will rotate away for the time being. Corbin taunted in for now, but looks to get away. Yeah, she'll be just fine over there.
Yeah, Corbin going to be A-okay. Definitely going to be a right-hand tower siege at this point. Specify not even going to walk to this right-hand side. He's just going to go straight to the left-hand side and, clear out that lane. I mean, what can I say, man? Kexen has just been maneuvering these late-game team fights perfectly. He's going in first, and then he's kind of backing up a little bit, and then as soon as his taunt's back up, he's going back in with his jump or his blink, whatever he needs to go back in with a second time. Doesn't have beads, so he's going to be plucked a lot in these late game team fights. As soon as he goes in, if he gets plucked, he can get one shot if he's not careful, but it doesn't seem to matter. His team has really done a good job at these late game fights of going in immediately after Kexen is going in. So, credit Kexen. Good job from the rest of the team for following up off of that great shot calling.
Yeah, and it really feels like most of that kind of falling apart from the Rockhoppers in the last 2 or 3 minutes or so comes off the back of Zareth just being a little bit out of position, going for the purple camp with no ward coverage, gets caught out, taunted in by Kexen. And just from there, things kind of go from bad to worse. And when all is said and done, you lose 2 Phoenixes and about 6 kills end up going the way of the Raptors over a couple minutes. And they'll take the Primal Fury off the back of that. Not a huge win, but they'll take whatever they can get at this point. So, hey, it's not, you won't sneeze at it,
No, I mean, and you check the items, their Raptors are still scaling. 6 items still being completed. That's a Deathbringer for Kexen. That's scary at this stage of the game. Finishing up those starters, finishing up those items. It's the CDR one, which I like to see on a Shirket at this point. But I mean, Soul just bought a Telkines. The only person not with the 6th item is Thickest Kayak at this point in the game. So, and a Primal Fury on top, that I think, you could have maybe done, you can make the argument Oni Fury would be great here because, then it's pushing the left and the mid and it's great. But at this stage, I'm totally okay with the Primal as well, because that's just going to let your EFG siege be a little stronger on the side of the Raptors. And we kind of saw last time they pulled EFG, it wasn't the greatest, as we do see a small pause hopefully come out here. But their objective damage wasn't the greatest. So, getting that little extra oomph here for them, what is a good look for the Raptors.
Looks like it is a DC for Dummy Slick going to be resulting in this pause. We'll be here just a minute to see if he can get back in very quickly or not. But for the time being, maybe we can discuss just how this game is going and what you think needs to see from both teams as we head into the final stages of the game here.
So, I mean, Raptors obviously keep doing what they've been doing, play really slow here. They have these mid and left fire waves pushing. So you just wait for those to push, then you pull the FG and you get the FG, then you just run down the right-hand side. Rockhoppers really have to make something happen here. They have to look for the fight sooner rather than later. They can't afford to wait. They can't afford to play patient. They have to look for these fights, and then they have to immediately get a kill. They have to back up. They have to clear these waves out. Probably send Jack of most trades back because he has that teleport, but though Sobek doesn't clear these fire waves efficiently 31 minutes into the game here. So it is really unfortunate for the Rockhoppers, especially because we've been talking about it. It feels like they've had the better late game team, but at least in terms of composition. But Raptors, they've just excelled at this late game.
So good at picking off just individual members who are just, a fraction of a space out of position. And Raptors notice, they pounce and they blow somebody up. And from there, the team fight just spirals out of the Rockhoppers' control. And I agree with you. The Raptors, if they are able to get this EFG, there's a very thin wall, separating them from victory. Whereas even if the Rockhoppers take the EFG here, unless they get a deicide to go with it, it's really tough to see how they manage to get this game, off the back of that. That doesn't win them the game. That just puts them back in contention for the game,
Right. And, EFG is, yeah, it's still tier 2 towers up on the side of Raptors. So, if Rockhoppers get EFG, it's not a death sentence for the Raptors necessarily, but, I really do think that whoever gets this EFG is in a a much better position than say the EFG to win the game. I would say, at this stage in the game, at this point, you're really looking at these long death timers. One pick is all you really need, and we're looking at it. I think Rockhoppers have the better style of pick composition. So if they can get that initial pick, especially because we've been talking about it early on, not everyone has beads on the side of the Raptors. Thickest Kayak could be a prime target at this point if the Rockhoppers can just layer their damage on top of him.
Well, we are unpaused. As you can see, Dummy Slick has connected back into the game. And with him coming back out, you can see, look at him lurking near. Oh, just managed to get away. Was Specify. Little bit of a lazy back, nearly resulting in his death. Dummy Slick thought about it, not quite close enough to make it happen. And now you can see the Raptors all circling the water near that EFG, trying to make something happen. The Rockhoppers rotating into position now, but this is the team fight to end it all right here. I mean, for the most part.
For the most part, yeah.
Circumstances notwithstanding.
Yeah, I mean, Jack of most trades takes a ton of damage there. Is really low, gonna have the back, does have that teleport available. And Xerath dashes in and looks for Kexen, who's trying to hunt the Sobek. He's so deep, but not gonna be able to find it. Zealous now gonna be hunting him.
Looking for even more, trying to get back up into the rest of the team fight. The Sunbreaker comes down, and that is Kexen dying. Now the Rivers Rebuke thrown down onto the Fire Giant, and they're burning it down. Other members of the Raptors, and only Rockhoppers are here. So the Emoja is here. So the Raptors do pick up the EFG, but like you said, they have to go. Kexen is gone. And even though they have the EFG on their side, looking for even more, the Blink is committed. Zealous gets disarmed, not able to get any basic attacks. Dummy Slick uses the leap to get himself back up and over the wall. Holy critical damage, nearly 700. You can see they're coming out on the screen, but it's not enough to help Dummy Slick. They lose 2 to the Raptors. The destruction committed to make sure that Zealous can get out. And with all 5 members of the Rockhoppers still here, you can see the Sobek has already rotated back to the back and is helping to clean up these minions. A little bit of tickle damage will go onto the Titan, but not enough for this to end things. And like I said, crazy circumstances notwithstanding, this ended up being one of those crazy circumstances I don't think either team can end right here.
No, I mean, Rockhoppers can definitely look for a potential siege here for sure. Right-hand side, Trebuchet is going to push, so they do have to clear out a lot of waves right now. They have to do a lot of their homework before they can get on the Xbox to play video games at this point. So the Raptors, they get a moment of reprieve here. Dummy Slick's still dead for a few more seconds, going to be up pretty soon. They have 3 members with EFG. I don't think you really go for a siege. I think you maybe look for the Sony Fury when it spawns. You maybe look for a potential pick. Kexen, despite dying there, has potential to still one-shot someone at this point. Didn't get it in the last time, but I mean, great communication between the Raptors. Kexen does go a little too far forward, but immediately it's on to the EFG. He buys as much time as he can, going as deep as he can, does end up falling down, unfortunately, so it does become a 5v4. But immediately it's the EFG call from the Raptors, and they come away with it, and they have to get out. They do eventually end up losing Dummy Slick in the process, but there's no potential siege afterwards from the Rockhoppers because of the way their base was in tatters. So, good showing here for the Raptors, and it looks like they want to siege anyways.
They're going to try it. All the members are nearby. Fire Giant only on Corbin, Kayak, and Lessons, but they do have the minions still pushing in left side. The Phoenix did fall once again during that. A good bright spot for the Rockhoppers is that their builds are starting to finish up for the time being. So the power spike that the Raptors had is starting to dwindle as everybody gets the last of their items online.
Yeah, it's a pretty big relic advantage so far, as it is an engage from Jack of most trades. Nothing too crazy just yet.
The pluck. Not quite going to connect with it. He does manage to get himself out safely, but not getting what they were looking for. Well, but that's big. The Rivers Rebuke going to lock a couple members in. Zealous is so low, and he doesn't have the destruction because he used it in the last fight. Zealous goes down. The Sunbreaker not going to get anything off of the back of that, and now it's Specify trying to dash out using the leap. Now the couple members that are here for the Rockhoppers are starting to die because it's a 4 versus 2, and Specify's running for his life. Dummy Slick chased away somebody in the mid lane. I couldn't even tell who it was, and a Rage Moose is the next target as the remaining members of Rockhoppers have to get themselves healed up and try and get back into this fight. They're down 1 member, and they've lost their Phoenix. This is the siege for the game here, as the Raptors are looking to pick up a kill or 2 and transition that into a Titan win. But the damage coming out of Specify is still so big that he can push them away for the time being. And once again, the game doesn't quite end.
I mean, great engage from Zealous. He tries really hard to get on top of Kexen and finish him off, but good usage of relics from Kexen, and he's able to get away and kite away from Zealous. Zealous ends up falling. And credit to Dummy Slick, he's really played objective-minded, focused. Very selfishly, I would say. He's not looking for these fights. He's not looking to help his team. He's just, I'm going to hit this objective. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be a real thorn in the side of Rockhoppers. And there he gets the mid Phoenix and forces Xerath to be in that mid lane. And, Raptors, they don't want to throw just yet. 36 minutes in, they end up sieging the Titan wrong. Things could go awry. Their Fire Giant's going to be falling off soon. They're down a lot of relics. So they just elect to back it up. And I'm totally okay with that call.
Yeah, it feels like they're in that position where you can kind of call it either way, but if you call the go for it and you miss there, you're going to be kicking yourself for a long time, especially because the Raptors, this is their elimination point. If they lose here, they're done. But if the Raptors can manage to take this one, we go to a game 3.
I mean, what a great set this has been. I mean, it was Rockhoppers game 1 and it's been Raptors game number 2 in this early mid to late game. They've really excelled this time around against the Rockhoppers. It's not over yet. Rockhoppers still have the potential to come back here. They have that late game Kali, 6 items slotted. She does start to chunk really hard. The only person missing items at this point is Enraged Moose, and that's a support. That's just going to happen at this point in the game. But they, Rockhoppers, they really do have to focus about these waves at this point. They're really concerned. They can't let their base kind of fall apart. Yet again, Kexen gets spotted, but I mean, it's just going to be an EFG pull at this point.
Yeah, and there's not a lot that Rockhoppers can stop them here. There are 3 members out of position trying to clear lanes, and the Raptors know this. They're all on the map right now. So barring some heroics and getting everyone here in time, yeah, they're just going to burn this down. Look at that, 50%, 30%, 20%. They're burning it down. Only Enraged Moose and Xerath are in the area, and they can't get in close enough. Raptors confirm the Fire Giant and using the Rivers Rebuke off the back, but Xerath picks up Kexen. Just managed to get the kill they were looking for. The Bat Out of Hell trying to find even more, but the damage isn't quite there. Mostly using it as an escape. Zealous is now in the back line, and they're trying to find even more. Dives in onto Lessons. No damage to speak of, but the Sunbreaker going to get a lot more than they were bargaining for. But it's so low. Is the member of Zealous on the side of the Rockhoppers getting chased down. Lessons is actually the first one to fall. Gets the reset on a little bit more health, and now grabbed and yanked back in is Corbin. That's the Raptors throwing away the advantage they had as 3 fall underneath the Fire Giant. They looked in a prime position, but with so many down, you talked about how easy it is to throw here at the 40th minute of the game, and we are a couple fights and a Phoenix away from seeing this game end in favor of the Rockhoppers.
No way, dude. Dummy Slick is up and Kexen's up in 19 seconds. They don't have the Kali there to defend or to siege the base, really, so it is going to be a little hard for Rockhoppers, I think, to end here necessarily. But I mean, Dummy Slick hasn't backed yet. He's kind of, I don't know what he's really doing. He's kind of lurking for something, maybe a potential lazy backer. But Rockhoppers, they don't end the game there. But man,
is Dummy Slick trying to backdoor?
I don't think so. He better not be.
Look at him. Look where he's going. What else would you be doing?
He's trying to get the mid Phoenix. He has EFG. He's trying to get the mid Phoenix. Has Bat Out of Hell to really buy himself some time. He has his relics, but no. I mean, the Kali, the Hui here. He's not going to be able to defend this or to take away the Phoenix.
The madman. You gave me a heart attack there for a second. Whew. All right, breathe. All right. So he doesn't try to backdoor. The Phoenix does fall on the right side there. So that lane's pressure is actually going to be going in the way of the Rockhoppers for the first time in as many minutes because their Phoenix, while very, very fragile, has actually respawned by now. In fact, all 3 Phoenixes have respawned for the Rockhoppers. So they're looking pretty good at this point. Fire Giant obviously did go the way of the Raptors, so no EFG buff to make things easier for them in the future. But it did only stick on Dummy Slick and Thickest Kayak, so you're not really too worried about that if you're the Rockhoppers.
Yeah, and most importantly, the game doesn't end. I mean, Rockhoppers were 3 Phoenixes down for that Fire Siege, and they're still in this game. When you're 3 Phoenixes down, it's very hard. There's a reason we've only really seen, teams like Pittsburgh Knights really come back from plays like that. Kexen could be in a lot of trouble here.
This is not the first time we've seen him push a little bit far forward and get caught out. The pluck is good. Stunned up immediately, trying to use the dash. Does get it away, followed by the leap. So Kexen escapes for the time being. Root no good on Corbin, not going to connect. Using the ult to get a little bit more space. Locked up and thrown down. Oh, she's totally dead at this point. Going to be using, oh man, forgot about the Dharmic Pillars. Going to be using just enough of the speed reduction to get away for the time being. And Dummy Slick, like you pointed out, taking away the Phoenix on the left side, trying to find more damage. But the auto attacks from Specify are huge. And Dummy Slick just melts. He'll get the Phoenix, but he'll lose his life in exchange. And I'll say his life is far more important at this stage of the game. 4 members here for the Rockhoppers, and Specify pushing up the left side all on his lonesome. They choose to take this advantage to siege down the tier 2 tower in the mid lane. But I don't love it, but I also don't know what else I'd rather have them do it instead. You know, it just feels like nothing is that great for them right here.
Oh, pluck on the Corbin. I don't think he's in trouble here. He has that ultimate available to them. Rockhoppers have to be careful that Corbin doesn't initiate on them right there. Kexen is still doing a lot of damage. I am not a fan of this shell. The more that this game has gone on, I understand why. It's because I think... actually, no, I don't really understand why. I don't understand the shell pickup into Sobek, Yamoja. Maybe it's because of the ult from Yamoja, but like, come on, man. You need beads against a Sobek.
Specify. He's caught out. He's all alone, and his teammates are nowhere nearby to help. Goes up and then goes back down again. Uses the number pillars, and he gets blown up by Corbin. I thought for sure he was going to go down there, and he does. Uses even more. Uses the River's Rebuke to lock a couple in. Not quite going to connect into kill, but the destruction makes sure that Zealous gets out for the time being. Most of the members of Raptors are relatively healthy and headed forward. Kexen going forward, trying to find a taunt, maybe even more. He will back away for the time being, and with Specify going down, that is a big loss for the Rockhoppers. Not game losing, but you really wanted to keep him alive there, and it felt like he was just way too far separated from his teammates.
Man, this game is still going on. I mean, it's just so back and forth at this stage of the game. You know, Specify gets caught, Kexen gets caught, Dummyslick gets caught. Like, it's just back and forth, left and right. Raptors do come away with that primal fury, which going into this 42-minute game, they have double primal fury, so they are going to have that extra jungle damage on the FG. So good luck for them. It's very hard. It's very hard to predict who's going to come out, and I guess the only advantage you give is that, you know, Rockhoppers still have that left-hand side Phoenix down for this FG siege, but, you know, they seem to have been okay with that these past couple of FG fights. But, you know, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on... No, that's not right. Anyways. Raptors, they better come out on top of this with this left-hand side Phoenix being down.
They're definitely looking to. Blinked in and looking for more is Dummyslick, trying to get all onto Zareth, using the Bat Out of Hell to confirm a little bit more damage. Not going to result in her death. He's trying to run away for the time being. Kexen now going to leap over the wall. There it is. We were waiting for it. Trying to get the taunt off. Is going to blow up Zareth. And now looking for even more. The members of Raptors knew that Specify wasn't here, and they engage on the remaining members. Zealous going to go down. 2 now dead. 3 now dead for the Rockhoppers. And that should be it. Like you say, Specify not being there for his team and being visible on the map means the Raptors have absolutely no fear in trying to engage. But the damage from Specify is too big, and he blows up Dummyslick for the second time in as many minutes. Now this is getting even closer. It's a 2 versus 4 underneath the Fire Giant, or excuse me, underneath the Titan. Nobody from the Rockhoppers is going to be back up in a very long time. They did lose one of their big damage dealers, but the Titan is melting too fast. You're right, they can't stop him. It's only 20% health left remaining on it, 10% to go. Dead and Jade's Moose will fall down, as does the Titan. And we head to a game 3. The Raptors just refuse to give up.
Man, oh man, signs of life from the Raptors. And what's the difference maker that time around? They aren't focused on the objective. At this stage in the game, you can't focus on looking for that FG and just coin flipping the fight immediately after. Fight them because they have the disadvantage in the 4v5 fight. So there it is right then and there. You know, we saw Dummyslick kind of go in first on the Zareth, you know, forced her to really position far back. Kexen then goes in for that cleanup afterwards. As, you know, we saw the Rockhoppers have to backpedal away. You know, very great showing from the Raptors game number 2.
Yeah, honestly, it's so hard to point to anything that either team needs to improve on in the second game, or in our third game here, because they both played so well and the game just hovered on a knife's edge for so long. It really felt like some tiny little swings in either direction could have changed who walked away with the win on this one. Incredibly well played to both teams, and I'm so excited to see how game 3 ends up playing out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great showing. If I'm changing anything for either team, Rockhoppers lose that game number 2. So I think they're looking towards the early game yet again. They're changing up that style. You know, we kind of beat them really hard in the early game. Let's mess them up in this early game number 3. So great showing to them. But congrats to the Raptors in game number 2.
Well, that's going to do it for us here for game number 2 in the casting booth. We're going to throw it to a quick break, and we'll be back at you before too long with game number 3.
Oh, no, you're not.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, you're not.
Oh, no, we're not.
Yeah, we're going to go into a coaching session right quick first.
Alrighty then.
We still live? Haha. Good. So, for those of you just joining, I am King Scoob. I'm the Discord mod over on the official forums, running this event along with a bunch of other people. I do have a link to post, but Nightbot does not like me. Is there any way I could get around this? You're not positive. Guess I will real quick. I'm gonna try getting Poe to post that link because it doesn't like me. Uh, just so you know, if you do go to that link, you can win Summer Eclipse Morgan Le Fay, Pride of Avalon Lancelot, Toxic Overload Achilles, or the Zodiac Council Battle Pass whenever it does get posted. And you also enter yourself into a chance to win $50 from me. That'll be at the end, though. But all that being said, I will give you an update as soon as I see where that link goes. We might just have to do it in the actual Quacken Discord real quick. So let's get into coaching. So first game we had Double A and King Kerbis. Do mind everybody that I am not a caster. I have little experience with casting, so I can really only go over what I've heard from Spooky and Majin, kind of points that I want to hear, but mostly I'm here from an audience perspective. AKA, I hardly know the whole from the ground, but I know a little bit of it. So, going on to you first, Double A. Are you here, boss?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So, a few points. You like to invest a lot of energy just all at once for some reason. So, like early game, you were putting in so much energy. It's like I would have expected that to be like from a fire giant steel almost. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Um, so there was a lot of energy modulation errors. There were a lot of the time your energy just kind of stagnated. So it was almost like listening to you talk in monotone, even though you had good call outs, you had some good flow for the most part. At the very start of it, you kept on trying to weave in Jing Chen's ult name. What is that? Raging Steel of what was it?
Whirlwind of Rage and Steel.
Whirlwind
Yeah.
of Rage and Steel.
Yeah. To the viewers, Poe Lil Tink just posted the survey. If you can go fill that out, we'd greatly appreciate it. Just fill out the one if you didn't see the set. It ain't gonna hurt nobody's feelings. Um, so when you there's a- there's two different split points here. It sounds really good when you can keep on calling out skill names, but in certain points when you tried calling that specific skill out, it almost disjointed you. So your flow got interrupted while it almost felt like you were trying to recall the name of it. And it just like went, oh, like it just popped us out of the cast for simpler terms. Um I will say from King Kerbis, one thing I really liked from you, first trebuchet that came out went right down middle, and you put out some really good points um, on why that was not optimal. Especially because I believe it was Tiamat in the middle. Uh, you had good handoffs overall, in my opinion. But there were definitely points where you two kind of fought over the microphone a little bit. Um, and you talked over each other. Um, it was kind of a little bit of a tug and pull at certain points. Uh, there was a great little little correction that I had to have a good chuckle at when you were talking about the stacks. I believe Double A said something about, oh yeah, the teams have 3 stacks, and King Kerbis came back around and said, no, actually there's 5. And instead of taking offense, you're like, well, that's why you're the chair too. Screw me. I really that was just some good synergy between you two. It's good to have humor in casts, and you guys did have a little bit of it, which just adds quality, in my opinion.
For sure.
That's about all I could pick out from you. I'm hoping that one of the other coaches will come in and give you a lot more in depth. Like, unfortunately, they just weren't available tonight.
Sure.
On to Voiceless One and Archangel for the other game.
Oh
So
boy.
Archangel, overall, I'm not trying to be a dick. Do you have a stutter problem normally, or
It depends. Yes and no.
okay? So one thing that might help with that is you might be trying to talk too quickly, and if you
Yes.
bring down your pace just a little bit, that might be a little bit smoother, kind of knock out some of that that going on with you.
Okay.
It's like it was a lot more noticeable at the start. It got way better towards the end. It felt like you were getting way more comfortable casting and finding your own pace. Um, no problem if it actually is just something you do, but if there's a way to fix it, let's see if we can't fix it.
Yeah, for sure.
Voiceless, you kind of had again energy problems. There was a lot of points where you didn't invest anywhere near enough energy into your into your cast. Because remember, chair one, you're trying to all of a sudden readjust where the viewers are looking and get them really invested in what's going on. Um, that said, obviously you don't want to ramp up to a 10 for a little, 1v1, but you did have a really good energy pitch. Like you went from a 4 to a 9 during that fire giant steal. Believe that was, or sorry, no, Oni fight. I apologize. That was about 18 minutes in. You also tended to kind of overanalyze. You should have just kicked that back to Archangel and just let him analyze more than you, while you kind of refreshed yourself and let yourself take a rest. That way you're way more in tune, way more ready for the action when the fighting begins.
All right.
Outside of that, I don't know who done it. Broke a cardinal rule. Never apologize as a caster. Never apologize. It was on purpose. The audience will never know if you don't apologize. It's just that was just normal. That's really all I got. Hopefully
Who's-
some of that was useful to you.
I don't know what we're supposed to say. Yes.
Hey man,
Yeah.
thanks for giving some criticism. It's always needed and always welcome.
Yeah,
This is
I will
true.
say overall both casts were enjoyable. Just saying. All mics were pretty solid quality tonight. There was a lot of chat comments saying that the mic quality we got rated in the second game. Everybody's like, "Oh man, quality for these guys is great, 10 out of 10." So, and it was the same in the first game. They're good mic quality, good enunciation throughout too. So, overall, solid cast, guys, and appreciate you coming in. And we're gonna have the results hopefully on Sunday, and we're gonna figure out which one of you is getting the boot, and which one of you is going on.
Yeah.
Sweet. Appreciate the
Uh,
opportunity.
We're not done here yet, right?
We are not done here.
'Cause
We're
there's a
going into
game three.
We're going into game 3, figure out who's winning this tug of war. That all be said, we'll be back because we're going on break while we figure out the back end.
And I've been chillin', watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our cloudlands when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word. honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Play me like a bass guitar, simmer down and mess me up, tripping like I'm Jimmy at Woodstock. Drive me around in your red Ford, shivers down my spinal cord. Oh. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding,
Here we go again. Trying hard, but you wanna be my friend. Ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. Here we go again. Call my bluff, I'ma be here till the end. I'm the one you ride, I'm the one you ride to. If you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. If you don't wanna change, I can help you out. 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 Here we go again. Time is up and I'm calling up my friends. Ain't no wonder why, ain't no one to ride to. Here we go again. Call me up and you wanna be my friend. I'm the one you ride, I'm the one you ride to. If you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide.
And I've been chillin', watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our cloudlands when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding. And I'll be running, possessed by a low, low voodoo. Fired up like a wolf on a full moon. And we're stuck in a la la land. The tides will turn without us. And I'll be killing time like I might be a cartoon. Take it in real life like haiku. I know we got the good vibes when pieces fall right into place. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. I'm Jimmy at Woodstock. Drive me around in your red Ford. Shivers down my spinal cord. Oh. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding,
Here we go again.
All right, everyone, we are back. Game 3 action coming at you. My name's Double again, and joining me is Archangel.
Hello.
So definitely an interesting game. We are gonna skip the picking bands. We thought we are gonna go hop right into this game 3 action. As you know, it was definitely a great second game there. But looking at the picks here, anything out of ordinary in your mind, Archangel?
Well, there's a couple things. You look across the way and you're like, yes, the blue side. You know, you got the Circuit supporter back, and you're like, perfect. And then Jack of most trades is once again on a Guardian solo. And Specify is on a strong ADC pick. And then you look over there, and the Raptors, well, they've drafted Apollo, and you're like, okay, that makes sense. And then you've drafted Ganesh again, and that's a great pick because it worked so well in the last game. And then you see Dummy Slick on the Thor mid. And then you start to have questions. And then you see Kexen on the Bologna jungle. And you start to have even more questions. And the Rat solo, well, that kind of makes sense. So you're totally okay with that. But then you see your 3v3 as a whole, and you're kind of like, well, where's the wave clear? Thor mid, not great wave clear. So I don't know. It doesn't exert the same kind of kill pressure that the Kamazots brought. So I'm not a fan. I am not a fan.
Yeah, definitely really interesting. Thickest Kayak right now, really holding the team together with his meta picks. But yeah, it is an interesting comp for sure. I mean, Rat solo, it's super viable, but still not super common. On the other side, you know, Cerberus, which I've seen more recently, but still nothing that is in the meta, at least in my mind.
Right, we've seen a lot of, Sobek, Jingtian, a lot of course, we didn't get to see the draft phase, so we don't really know. It is level 2 for the side of Red Furs. So, I mean, against this mid 2v2, you have a Yu Huang and a Humbots. They're not going to, have great fight early. As soon as they hit 5 on the side of the Raptors, Kexen and Dummy Slick, they just fight you. And they will beat you because they're Bologna Thor. And they're kind of really good. But going into the mid to late, you're kind of like relying a lot on lessons, and lessons on the Soul didn't have a star-studded performance. It was a lot of Kexen and Dummy Slick really pulling the team together, and lessons was kind of there to be that structure damage that they needed, and then objective damage, and then kind of killing some frontline, but not really killing frontline. And that's just the way Soul is. This game, a lot of it, I think, is on lessons on this Apollo.
Yeah, for sure. And with the Apollo, of course, with his ultimate, he's going to be rotating around into these team fights. And yeah, looks like Dummy Slick barely getting away, has about 1 bar of health. Bologna as well, making her way here. Both jungles now joining in, but doesn't look like there's going to be a further skirmish potentially, as Kexen does pull up here, but backs off.
Yeah, a lot to do about nothing. I mean, Xerath on this Yu Huang, I think, is going to be a real thorn in the side of the Raptors. She had a great performance in game number 1 and kind of in game number 2. Did end up getting caught a couple times, but overall, a strong Tia performance has gone for this Yu Huang instead. Very safe and very hard to kill, and that's the thing. A lot of this composition from the side of what's their team name? The Rockhoppers, excuse me. There's no team names up above, so it's hard for me to see this time around, but that's okay. And so, this time around, it is very hard to lock down with this dive. You have the Yuhong with the float. The Bog just goes into the wall. The Circuit is very mobile. The Cerberus has a CPU molt. The Humbots, I think, is the only one that you can really hunt down and kill off very effectively, I think.
For sure, and it's no easy feat either when he does have his ultimate, as you just place that right at his feet, and all of a sudden you're going to have to either push the beads button or end up taking a lot of damage from multiple sources, I would assume, in a team fight. But yeah, I mean, this team really good. I think, like you said, super safe, able to kind of dish out the damage and then get away. The other side as well. I'm really excited for the Thor pickup. I mean, Thor. I mean, I'm a Thor fan. Let's see, what's he building here? He's going Bluestone first item, maybe a Transcendence next. So, I hope it pays off. Like you said, the wave clear, not the best, but already getting the stun right there. Addition the damage right back is that Yuhong. But yeah, I mean, I just want to see some crazy ults from mid. I mean, just being able to dive into the jungle. You're right in the center of the map, so you can kind of go wherever you want. But I don't know. I'm really excited to see what Dummy Slick has up his sleeves.
I mean, if he can make it, if he can get out of this sort of laning phase and just stop the laning phase early, it's like we talk about a lot about laning phases and like when does the laning phase ends. It kind of starts to end once the mid 3v3 really starts to rotate to side lanes, or they're looking for objectives a lot. And if Dummy Slick can end that sort of quote unquote laning phase really early by just rotating to side lanes early and often with his Thor ult, I think that that Raptors will get off to a really good lead, to which the point they will not be able to be caught back up from. And here we go. We see it here in the left hand side.
Yeah, Dummy Slick up in the air. We'll see if he lands down on a Chernobog. He will specify having to retreat. Beads are burned, but here comes the stun out from Thor once again, just wreaking havoc here in the dual lane. But looks like Specify able to get away from the assault.
Yeah, but I mean, Thickest Kayak immediately rotates mid, so he's kind of there to cover the lane. But it's all about this purple buff invade. Dummy Slick is here. He's almost like a second jungler this game around. So, good to see that he's there for the buff invades. Across the way, we do see Zealous kind of over here. Oh, no, sorry, that's Moose.
Yeah, Moose gonna jump in looking for this blue buff. Will he get it? Doesn't look like it, as Corbin able to secure that and dash away. Kexton over here as well, looking for something. Just gonna grab those few harpies, but maybe a fight brewing still as Thickest Kayak makes his way over here. Pings come out, but looks like a moment of peace.
Blue buff invade unsuccessful. So overall, it's just going to be back to farming here for both teams. They do get the beads on the side of Specify here on this left-hand side, so would like to see Dummy Slick or maybe even Kexton, the actual jungler, pay some mind to this left-hand side and maybe, put Specify behind. He's been a very big part of the Rockhoppers and their success these past 2 games, so would like to maybe see a little more attention here on this left-hand side.
Yeah, for sure. And, we've seen some interesting comps like we've talked about, but, it was kind of here in Rage Moose, here and all the assassins there on the blue team here. But then on the other side, now they're going to switch it right back up. 2 assassins there, as we see potentially both junglers are meeting over here by the Gold Fury and Rage Moose, getting some poke damage, but then pulling back off. But yeah, I mean, I love these comps. I love all the weird picks. They're fantastic, especially when someone can pull them off. In the SPL, it's super fun to watch like Benny Hewitt stuff on some different picks, and it's just always refreshing.
Yeah, but I mean, Pagon, I think, has been the big one, I think, recently. The Susano, the Tsukiyomi, and then, Dardes with his Nemesis mid. I mean, we saw Kabrakan mid from Shinto today.
Yeah, stuff like that makes the game fun, especially when you can pull it off. And with Dummy Slick, as forementioned, just being kind of a jungle guy more so than a mid, might as well, fall back into that kind of comfort pick
Oh.
of a Thor, of, maybe even a Chernobog, or, every other pick that he's been on in this game has been super entertaining to watch from a viewer standpoint. And, it's been working out. We're here in a game 3. And on a weird pick, he's confident enough. He locked in Thor, and he's going to jump right back down here onto Specify.
Wow.
Absolutely blown up. Nothing he can do about it. And he's gone on Rage Moose, the only one over here to left. And we'll have to retreat as the rotation from the enemy support now coming through.
Specify's beads just came up, and once again, they are down. Dummy Slick making it happen in this early game, getting the first blood there on Specify. And I kind of talked about that last game. You rotate to the left-hand side, get some relics, and then immediately back up. This time around, Dummy Slick's doing exactly that. He forces the beads early and is immediately back there in that left-hand side for Specify. Good to see out of the mid lane from Dummy Slick.
Yeah, and Thor, you can kind of build him a few different ways. I personally love, the hidden blade kind of route. Mid lane, obviously you're going to be building a little bit different. But, that's what Thor does. He jumps
Xerath
down, he blows people up, and Xerath able to get out with that invulnerability on his third ability. But yeah, I mean, Thor is just there to blow people up, especially here in the early game. Early to mid game is when he's going to shine.
If you don't mind, spectator, Canadian has been a great spectator for us tonight. Huge shout outs to him. Can we see what Thor is maxing? Often in the jungle, I think it's a few points in the 3, and then going towards that 1. But I think this time around, yes, it is going to be that hammer that's going to be maxed out, and this time around. So really like to see that. And that's going to allow that sort of, ult down one-shot combo really come through in this early game, I think. When Thor got his rework on his 3, we kind of saw a bit of a shy away from that early game poke potential that he's often known for. Back in the day, we used to see Thor's, half-healthing people with his combo, the free-handed adapting ones that we used to see. Nowadays, it's kind of more maxing a few points in the 3 and then maxing the 1. And then, the ult is really important. Or then you have some stun duration you really need on the 2. But I mean, Dummy Slick just going for the full blaster Thor mid, I think, is going to be very successful for Raptors if they can keep this going.
For sure, and turning your attention here to the dual lane for a second, as Thor gonna jump right back in. He does it again. Dummy Slick with the kill. Specify overwhelmed, and speaking of overwhelmed, over here, a team fight here in mid lane. Kexen having to fight here. Yu Hong, though, will go down. It looks like Core going down as well. Ratatasker does fall, but Thickest Kayak now trying to hold back on this tier 1 tower, as we do see finally these guys disengaging.
But that's good for the Raptors because they're pushing out this left-hand side. A lot of fighting, and they end up trading. Oh, Specify is back?
Yeah, he jumps right back in now. Dummy Slick, he wants his revenge. He's gonna down. Looking for something, not going to find it just yet. As we do see Giacomo's trades gets a kill there in solo lane, but dual lane is where it's happening right now. And Rage Moose comes in here, Specify, finishes him off, gets the kill. Dummy Slick goes down. And wow, what a game. 3-3 here, the 10 minutes in, and this has been super fun to watch.
The Mez almost saved Specify there, but just not in time, as this gold free looks like it's going to be pulled here. There's a grouping from Rockhoppers on this left-hand side that they don't have their jungler with them just yet. Maybe looking for another potential pick.
Yeah, they're definitely looking at it. Giacomo's trades in here, gets the stun off, and
he's dead.
Kaya cannot move anywhere. And Yu Hong does pick up the kill. Ganesha just trapped in a corner, nothing he could do. And maybe a reset here on the side of the blue team.
And Zealous is going to get this red buff invade, and now just putting Dummy Slick even further behind to Xerath. That's the problem about this Thor mid is, Dummy Slick kind of has to rotate to side lanes early to make the impact. Xerath just gets to stay at home, farm, get that level lead, and just become that mid to late game mage that, Yu Huang is kind of really good at being.
Definitely Pyromancer is going to go down. It does go the way of, looks like Ratatasker up in the air, though. Fear No Evil is out. Ratatasker, though, still looking for something, just going to retreat, as we do see everyone pulling off. But Giacomo's trade still in here looking for something. He's going to dash in and not going to find much on his abilities, as he's going to retreat back towards his side of the map.
The Rockhoppers do end up stealing away the Pyromancer, so that's a great look for them. So very unfortunate for the side of the Raptors. So not really sure. Honestly, they're kind of waiting, I think, for Rockhoppers to pull this Gold Fury, and that's where I think where they could potentially find something in terms of a fight, or in terms of catching a backliner with no relics. Maybe Dummy Slick's been doing a good job with these ultimates so far, but overall it's been Kexen, I think, who's been really quiet this game. We kind of saw him die. We don't really know what happened there, unfortunately, but he kind of got caught and ended up falling early. But on this Bologna jungle, he's going to be a really big part of these initiations, I think. But on a not as tanky jungler, gonna have to see a different change up from him this time around.
And Specify maybe looking to start a fight here in dual lane lessons. Going to challenge him right back, looking for a duel. I think it's Kayak trying to make that a 2v1 as he does show up, but backed too far was Specify. And now a little fight over here in the solo lane. Server Assault is out. Here comes Enraged Move. Looking for something. The taunt doesn't land this time. Giacomo's trades really, really low. Still alive, though, under this tower. Zealous in here. He brings it back. Kexen goes down, overwhelmed by Zealous. And now Zealous still looking to fight here against this Ratatasker, doing his best. But Enraged Moose is here for the backup. But Zealous now is in trouble, dashing out, as well as his teammate just trying to get out of that situation. But Ratatasker still looking to fight. That's the scariest squirrel that I've ever seen. At this point, Thor up in the air as Gold Fury being taken. Zealous does secure that kill over the solo lane, but now Yu Hong potentially in danger. Specify rotating in. There's action all across the map.
50-50.
Gold Fury, but blue team does secure it away, and Yu Hong does get a kill in mid lane as well. Everything going well right now. Giacomo Straight's in here trying to protect his teammate as long as possible. He jumps into the wall and back out, and he turns the fight around. Apollo up in the air, but now he's back. Lessons wants some more. Can he get it? Specify dwindling does go down. Lessons secures the kill. Now Giacomo's trades jumping in, trying to secure this. He will, and gets credit for it, redeeming the death on the side of his ADC. Now he's going to get a stun. He's looking for another, doing a lot of work right now as the solo laner, and Yu Hong secures the kill, gets him, and now is dual lane the play?
Yeah, they're going to get this tier 1 tower here. Man, I was so ready to say, Raptors are going to turn this game around here right now because they're going to get this Gold Fury. Dummy Slick's in a perfect position to zone. And then Specify steals the Gold Fury. He trades his life, sure, but, most of the side of Raptors end up falling in return. And so, yeah, not a good look for them this time around. It really has just been the side of Rockhoppers changing up how they've played this early game once again. Game number 1, they were really fast and loose in the early game, and they ended up coming out on top with their lead that they accumulated in the early game. Game number 2, we didn't really see much of that. They kind of slowed it down. They let Raptors really get back into the game and kind of get a lead and then get ahead, and they fought back into it really well, but then they ended up losing anyways in a really late game team fight. This time around, it's been just really fast and loose again in the early game on the side of Enraged Moose, who's had a really good performance so far. Peels out his solo laner and then his jungler. Great looking from the Circuit support so far.
Yeah, and like you said, we saw that all game 1. Game 2 still had a pretty decent game. Wasn't on that Circuit pick, was on the Yamoja instead, and still played really well. I mean, he has been core of his team in my mind, as well as Giacomo's trades. Been doing a lot of work. He's doing some more here in solo lane as well. He does some great poke damage under Rat, being forced down to about half health. But yeah, I mean, these guys have been super impressive. This front line is really, really fun to watch. They do really well, and they just enable their back line to come in and clean up everything else.
Yeah, and a pick on like Chernobog and Yu Huang, you really like to be able to just kind of push the buttons. You don't really want to worry about being dove. It's really nice to have peel. Here comes Specify.
Oh, Enraged Moose comes in as well. Zealous coming in. Thor up in the air. Anvil of Dawn is up and down. I don't know if he was just clipped with it, though, as he's we are going to see Thor back off. Tier 1 tower still standing, and now everyone on the blue team is over here. Rockhoppers is over here looking for maybe a Pyromancer or just a fight to break out. Dummy Slick is here.
I mean,
does find...
Yeah, look at Enraged Moose. He's in the stealth form. Now there goes Corbin onto the backside.
Yeah, Corbin having to back up Zealous, too hot to handle for him right now. And now Pyromancer being pulled by the Rockhoppers at about 3/4 health. We'll see if anybody on the other side of the Raptors is able to come in here is the question. Yuhong Ultimate will secure it. Blue team, the Rockhoppers do get it. And now backing off towards this mid lane is everyone else.
It's so hard for the side of the Raptors to really step up without committing their huge ultimates, right? You know, you have Balloon ult, you have Rat ult, and you have Thor ult, and they're all great, you know, engage tools and, you know, getting into that backline. But for a Pyromancer, you know, it's really hard to step up and just kind of try and steal it or contest it, you know. The Thor uses his mobility, but it's also his highest damaging ability outside of maybe his ultimate, you know, and he's not going to use it in front of them, so why would he do that? The Rat has to, you know, can't get his dash body blocked, he can't step up, he's also not that tanky here. The Blona also isn't that tanky, and has beads blink, sure, but you're going to burn that for a Pyro? Probably not. So it's just these small leads that the Rockhoppers are building up. Almost called them the Grasshoppers, I don't know why. Kind of play on word, but you know, they aren't able to contest these objectives as effectively as I would have liked them to, you know, and that's just by design of their comp. And you know, if they're okay with trying to get to the late game, sure, but so far they aren't able to do that. They're losing this early game.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, honestly, credit to their opponents. I mean, they're able to get in there, try to disrupt them. We've done a decent job at it so far. And, you know, I just keep them off those neutral objectives. I mean, the neutral play is so crucial in Smite. And, you know, if you're able to secure it and get it confidently, you know, you'll be a better team in the end, no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, look, check it out, Xerath right now. Level 18, 3-0-1. Caster's Curse says they're going to get caught here. Has the beats.
Yeah, and he's up in the area. Don't bring too much attention to him right as well. Going across the map with his ultimate, and he's looking for somebody towards this Gold Fury. Here comes Chernobog with his ultimate, ripping in here. Nothing found so far. Thickest Kayak is on his way. Oni Fury started over here by Enraged Moose, and still fighting, but nobody here
Wow.
on the side of the Raptors is able to get in here. Thor up in the air once again. They're gonna pull off. Scared of that Thor. I would be too. Not worth. He's gonna go down. They're on to Zealous.
That's
He
beats.
gets out. No problem though. And now Oni Fury started up once again.
check
Bologna
her
though
pits.
behind, and we'll have to see if she uses her ultimate. No, it's not up. But Ratatasker says he's up in the air. He's looking for an opponent, somebody to jump onto. We'll see if Specify is the play. It doesn't look like it just yet, but now jumping in, great dodge from Specify, hopping into that rock and back out now as Giacomo's Trades looking to fight, keeping everyone away from his squishies is the play. Now Chernobog, or excuse me, Cerberus ult is out. Fear No Evil as well dropped, and Dummy's like the first one to secure a kill in this team fight. As Enraged Moose looking for something here in the mid lane. This fight still breaking out over by the Gold Fury. Is Dummy Slick harassing Giacomo's Trades. But Oni Fury still up in this entire fight, has not gone down just yet. Enraged Moose, some poke damage out there as Bologna looking to pressure him. Kayak having to dash out lessons as well, taking some tick damage. That Cerberus is really annoying to play against. And yeah, some great damage. You don't expect that from him, but it comes out. But here's the ultimate. Kexen coming in here, and Xerath is in trouble. He will go down.
Dummy Slick.
Corbin secures the kill. Dummy Slick up, gets two, and he's looking for a kill. Can he get it? Specify in trouble. There's a mosh pit of red right now, trying to engage onto him. Here comes Lessons. He's going to add to the number, and he's looking for something, anything in this team fight. Giacomo's Trades is low. He goes down, and Specify joined him in the grave. And now finally, Oni Fury being pulled, and I would assume will go down.
Oh my Raptors, man, they are here to play despite their strange compositions, despite how they play. They are just here, man, and they are here to win this game number 3. I mean, what a fantastic play from Dummy Slick, Kex in there. The combination, you know, you have what is Xerath doing that deep? You know, Giacomo's Trade says, you know, we can do this, we can force this. Look at me deal all this damage to Lessons here. And then Dummy Slick says, I have a wall for you, sir. And then Kexen said, oh, I have my Eagles Rally here for you, sir. Oh, your backliner 3-1 Yuhuang just got his first death. He's dead. Dummy Slick is up. Dummy Slick is down. Zealous also dead now.
no.
Doesn't even get the ult up in time.
He gets off the ult, but like you said, not fast enough. Does end up going down. Dummy Slick doing it once again. 4, 2, and 3. Relatively pretty stat line. Not even as pretty as he's been playing right now. But yeah, I mean, this team is coming online. They are back in this game. The gold is so close. XP, I would assume, right there as well. And these guys, well, maybe not.
Wow.
but it's coming back for sure. But no, some great team fighting right now on the side of the Raptors.
And check where that experience lead is. It's in the side lanes. The side lanes that Dummy Slick has impacted continuously in this early game. There's the hammer. There's the toss. Moose might be in trouble here.
Yeah, having to dash back out. And now both teams are rallying over by this Pyromancer. It looks like Chernobog Specify staying over in his lane, looking to push minions, get some XP as well. Pyromancer at about half health. Yeah, that is the question. We'll see. Giacomo's Trades is over here, not able to get at Raptors. It goes away of the Raptors, if they're maybe the Rappers, I don't know. But Giacomo's Trades able to jump back out. Specify, though, not going to let him do it for free, and goes ahead and is attempting to secure this tier 1 tower. Apollo up in the air. Can he get it in time? He is going to. But now Specify with his ultimate up in the air. Both going back and forth right now. And Ratatasker is going to be the target of that ultimate. And now he's going to pop his ultimate. A chain reaction right now from both these teams. Weevil's out. The ultimates keep coming. And it looks like Corbin takes a tower shot, is able to get out, but now still fighting. But it's a sea of blue over here. Specify secures the kill. And Corbin does unfortunately fall if you're a Raptors fan. But great team fighting. Now back on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, Dummy Slick's going to be able to get out here. I mean, unfortunate from Corbin. He tries to predict the Chernobog dash, but you can't do that, man. Just wait till you see it and then go. But, oh, man, it costs his team a lot. Kexen might be in a lot of trouble here now as well. Kayak is on the way.
Oh, so low, and he does end up falling. But Zareth does get it. And Dummy Slick now.
Oh no!
But in pursuit is Specified, not going to be able to get it. The stun comes out perfectly placed. Now Lessons taking one out of Specify's book. He's going to drop a tower as well, helping out his team. I mean, back and forth to these teams right now. It is great that it's been a game 3 because these teams deserve it. They're both right up there here in the top of the division.
Yeah, but check out on the right-hand side. It looks like it's going to be a fire potential pull here. Only Kayak here defends. It's getting kind of low. Corbin's on the way. Dummy Slick is going up into the air.
Wow. Yeah, he is going to go up. Does he go down in time? He doesn't.
No.
Yet. Unfortunately, the Rockhoppers grab that one, and now they're powered up and ready to fight once again.
Man, 5 members with FG here for the Rockhoppers here. I mean, what is there to say now? You're down in a composition where like you don't really favor on the defenses here. You know, where's the wave clear? It's not that great. You're really not going to be using your hammer toss for wave clear. Lessons has done a really good job of split pushing, but Specify has been there from the moment the fight starts, the moment the fight ends. He is there contributing for his team. Lessons is off split pushing from time to time. He's really been using that ult to try and counteract Specify's split push, while Specify is out with his team, you know, forcing fights, forcing objectives. It's really hard for the Raptors to come back. Well, I say that they've done it time and time again, but
yeah, did you watch
their
last
backs
game,
are
or?
against the wall. Yeah, that last game, that Gold Fury fight, their backs are against the wall here. Let's see if they can do it once again here now.
Yeah, both these teams have been so much fun to watch. I mean, you just watch time and time again, you know, a team fight here, but then a team fight win the other way, and now a tower drops, but we're gonna see it, you know, with our luck, the other way. You know, it's just back and forth. But yeah, Kexen having to use the ultimate. Eagles rally is out, and now Enrage is
here.
Yeah, the root there was just so good. Specify picks up the kill, unable to get away is Kexen. And now everyone over here for the Rockhoppers looking to grab that tier 2 tower. Maybe more Lessons, though. Split pushing over here on this left side Phoenix.
I'm okay with this.
Yeah, I mean, definitely is an option. You know, you're going to push. The minions are coming that way as well. Someone's going to have to back. It looks like it's going to be Hunbats and Giacomo's Trades over here to defend that. Lessons having to pull off. Doesn't want to fight that Hunbats at this point in the game.
Yeah, Jack has his TP, so he is going to be back here on this right-hand side. This should be a right-hand Phoenix push.
Yeah, and does get the taunt off. The Phoenix is at about half health. That Fire Giant doing a lot of work right
Lessons is
now.
on the way.
Yeah, Corbin's is up in the air as well. Apollo comes back down, but no Manic Pillars are out as well. Specify at about half health. Giacomo's trades in trouble. Everyone in trouble here for the Rockhoppers. They're gonna have to get out if they can, but no, Specify can't. Lessons grabs the first one. Can somebody grab a second? As up in the air is Yu Hong. He's still alive, but not for much longer. Lessons gets a double kill, and now Giacomo's trades on the run as well. In pursuit is Lessons. He wants another. He's bloodthirsty right now, looking for something. Enraged Moose, though, maybe pulling back to help out his teammate. We'll see if it's enough. He gets the taunt out, but now stunned himself by Dummy Slick, having to dash out. But Kexon's here, the ultimate, to get even closer to Enraged Moose. But now the ultimate out for him. Back and forth once again. The teeter-totter right now. This fight, great taunt to keep them off of him. And now Giacomo's trades. Thank God he's bulky because he's still able to get out of here. The ultimate comes out, but not in time. Dummy Slick gets credit for that one. Giacomo's trades goes down, and these teams are back and forth. We just saw Phoenix go down on the solo lane for the Rockhoppers. Now they're coming back this way.
Yeah, I don't know if you can really siege this right-hand side Phoenix, though, if you're the side of the Raptors. You don't really have beads on your Apollo, and Zealous still has that ultimate available to him. Specify is back up. It's going to be really hard to siege this right-hand Phoenix. They are going to look mid, though. There goes the Fear No Evil.
Yeah, now this tier 2 tower is the target of the Raptors. They're not able to get it, and Rage Moose now jumping in here, looking to capitalize off of maybe a too big of a push from the other side. But Ratatasker up in the air, does head back down. Nobody home. Darmanic Pillars are up. Yeah, here comes Dummy Slick. He gets two.
Wow.
Does go down. Dummy Slick gets it, and there's a mosh pit in mid right now. Both going there. Kexon gets a kill as well.
Nice.
Oh, great play. And now Enraged Moose, the only one up here on the side of the Rockhoppers, and this is really, really dangerous. This tier 2 tower is going to go down, and now
That
Phoenix
could be the game.
is the play. Potentially, Giacomo's trades is up, and Rage Moose as well, backing to defend against this Serb ultimate. But look at how much damage that did. He's going to pull them away from that Phoenix, potentially for something else. Phoenix at about half health. The red health bars are pretty low, so they do have to be careful. And Rage Moose looking to capitalize on something if it's there. He's going to jump back in. Giacomo's trades looking for something. Still low is everyone on the side of the Raptors. And now the full retreat is on.
Yeah, Corbin's going to maybe sack himself here. He does have his ultimate coming up pretty soon, so he might just stand here and zone for a few seconds, make sure his team with less mobility can get out here. No, he's just going to walk away A-okay. Man, oh man. Raptors are not going away. Dummy Slick has consistently landed multi-man Anvil of Dawns, is consistently killing Specify, and Kexon is right there with them. And what's it all off of? The Ganesha Dharmic Pillars. Anytime someone is stuck in those pillars, they are turning towards that key target and executing them almost immediately. It has been a great showing from the Raptors and how they've played around this support pick.
Yeah, what have we learned? If you're going to play Thor mid, hit the ultimate. And he's been doing that every time, like you said. I mean, he's been doing great. It's fun to watch. I mean, he's gotten up a little ambitious a few times, but has never really had to pay for it too much. Look, he's going to push up right here, looking for something. Doesn't get too much off of it as Yu Hong pushing him back. But now Fire Giant, is that the play for these teams right now?
I mean, this is going to be the contention point. EFG 30 minutes into the game here. This is the game-ending card, so to speak. If you can get EFG here cleanly, and it's mostly going to be the fights around it. You know, you have to really concern yourselves about these right and mid waves, though Raptors won't have to concern themselves about this right wave very long as their Phoenix comes up first. But it is going to be about the fights around this FG. And if I were to give anyone the favor, I'd probably give it to the Raptors, honestly, just the way they've played these sort of close, tight corner engagements with these Thor ults, these Ganesha ults, these Rat ults, you know, very big AoE ults, and the Balone ult as well. Normally, I would say it would go to the Rockhoppers, but this, just the way the game has gone, I would say it's a Raptors' favorite fight.
Yeah, I believe Raptors ahead in most categories right now, not player damage, as we do see Rockhoppers, 2 players at the top right now, but yeah, I mean, it's enhanced Fire Giant right now. It's crunch time for both these teams. Whoever's going to win this is going to have a great advantage. and we'll have to see who's going to step up first. We see a little bit of poke here, but if you're on these teams, what's the engagement right now? Who's engaging?
I mean, it's going to be really hard for Raptors to engage because there is no relics down on the side of Rockhoppers right now. All their carries have relics. Oh, Corbin is going up.
Yeah, he's up in the air. We'll see who he lands on, and he's gonna pounce right on of Zareth. He's gonna have to go up in the air in the invulnerability. Here comes Dummy Slick. He wants to join in on the fun. Lessons is in here. He's gonna grab the first kill. He's looking for another.
Lessons.
Actually, Kexen gets a kill onto Zealous. Specify is low. Corbin. It's that one. Giacomo's trades really, really low. Does Dummy Slick have the ability? You know, the blink comes out for Giacomo's trades. But no, here's Kexen. He wants a part of it. And will he get it? He'll get the kill. And Rage Moose, the only one up, and he's nowhere near defending this Titan. Here comes the Raptors are coming in here for sure. This Titan not able to withstand any of this. Game 3 is going to go the way of the Raptors, winning this, pushing them up in the rankings. And what a great game it was.
If you told me after game number 1 that the Raptors were going to come back, win game number 2 with Kamazot's mid, and then win game number 3 with Thor mid, I would have hit you. I would have slapped you. I would have said, what the heck is wrong with you? That's not Smite game. But they have just done such a good job in game number 2 and 3 now to just play around their big ultimates, you know, playing for the team fights, all being on the same target. We saw 3 members, Apollo, Rat, and Bologna, all on top of the Yu Huang, just murdering her, even just buying time through those relics, but just wasn't enough to keep Zareth alive. And Specify got very little to no damage off in that late game team fight. But, I mean, wow, congrats to the Raptors. They played their comp amazingly well.
Yeah, they played great. It was back and forth that entire time. I hate to bring it up again. I mean, it was just great to watch. Both these teams deserved to be here, and they did great. And yeah, I mean, back and forth. Unfortunately, today, if you're a Rockhoppers fan, the Raptors take it, and they played great. That comp was so much fun to watch. You had 3 people going up in the air, and then on top of that, Bologna's going to jump in. And then, while you're stunned, here's the Dharmic Pillars. I mean, the comp was great. It worked out for them. They played it the way it was supposed to, and everything just kind of went their way.
Yeah, I mean, great showing from the Raptors. I mean, congrats to them once again. They're going to be going up higher in the standings this time. And so, if I were to give MVP to anyone in this set so far, I'd probably give it to Dummy Slick, just in his performance with these weird picks. It was a lot of fun to watch. So, congrats to you, Dummy Slick. Good job.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to bring attention to yourself by playing these kind of weird picks. It's another to actually perform on them. 16 kill participation in this match right now. So, yeah, great job. I'm going to have to agree with you. I think he was great. I also think on the other side, Giacomo's trades and Rage Moose played great as well. In both these teams, there wasn't a weak member on either side. I mean, these guys were fantastic. And, but today, yeah, congratulations, Raptors, and I know I'll be watching here for future matches.
Yeah, it was a great showing. Thanks for having us.